right, welcome to the Sae Bae cast number 267 with Travag for his second appearance just this year. So I want to spend today talking about the ins and outs of sailing and where your head is at when it comes to sailing, what you would want to see in the future, and maybe even updates to sailing that you would want to see prioritized over others, things that are most important to get fixed or revamped or whatever else. So I guess before we jump in, let's just get a brief introduction of who you are again for those that haven't watched your first episode earlier this year.
All right, sweet. Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Travag. I am a content creator on YouTube. I focus obviously on old school RuneScape, and generally my content is either commentary focused or video essay focused or guide focused. So kind of a blend between those. And we also talk about like new updates and stuff like that. So sort of like Sae Bae, with probably just a little more editing is generally the difference between me and you.
A little bit more planning, a little bit more effort put in. Yeah.
No, not effort, just editing. Just
yeah, well, thank
editing.
you. You're being very polite. I appreciate it.
So yeah, that's my channel, and once in a while we do a live stream here or there, but right now we're focused more or less on making content, and it's been a bit of a frenzy with sailing, definitely the past, not even just since release. Like I was releasing videos up until release, through the alpha, beta, and then obviously like the week before. And actually I think one of my kind of prep videos, which I did months before the release, was referenced in like the Jagex blog, which I did not expect at all because it was like a little bit older, but it was still kind of relevant. So that was cool to see as well.
Okay. Yeah. So, and I'm assuming most people probably have heard your previous episode, although there will be some that obviously haven't. I want to get the first sort of discussion point I want to talk on is, were you surprised at how successful the launch of sailing was, especially knowing of like the alphas and the betas that were tested and stuff? Because at least in my opinion, when I was doing that first sort of beta or alpha, whatever it was that we were all testing up to level 30, I didn't even get to level 30. I couldn't bear it. It was just so painful. But so I was not, I realized that the skill was going to be so much more than what we just experienced. So I tried to remain optimistic, but I did obviously sort of push back, and I was one of those kind of critics of the skill. And if I tried to be balanced, I tried to say what was good about it, but it was just painful. So I want to kind of get your take on those initial testing periods versus what we got day one.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say I was like surprised holistically, in a lot of ways. Like I think a lot of what I saw and what I experienced was kind of what I was expecting, but there were surprising moments, right? And just I guess one point on the holistic is like they actually pulled it off, more or less, is like the kind of, oh wow, like we actually managed to do it and it was smooth. I think the launch experience was incredible. Like given how large of an update this was, I expected there to be like, server downtimes and everything like that. But the whole strategy of like pre-launching stuff like a week before and hours before and everything made it a pretty awesome experience. And I was like streaming that day too, so I wasn't like staring at a login screen. I was actually playing. But I wasn't too surprised, I would say, because I kind of had a good feeling of what the skill would feel like. And I remember on the first cast we were talking, and I was like hammering home this point to you about how different it feels to be on the water, and how like Barracuda trials are going to have like this weird situation where like getting world record times is going to be like super nuanced because of the movement and the speed and the turning. And maybe your opinion has like altered since after trying it, but like I'm seeing people going for like world record times, and it is a case where like some runs you kind of crush it and other runs you got to reset, and it's got a lot of depth to it, and it's been fun to watch. So yeah, but I haven't been participating too much in Barracuda trials, surprisingly, just given kind of a circumstance of what I was trying to do and some things that happen in real life. But yeah, no, I think overall I'd say that there were parts that were a pleasant surprise and parts that I expected to be a little rough. And generally speaking, I'm very happy with the release.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Barracuda Trials is definitely something else. It felt like to me, before it had actually dropped, I was imagining, okay, there's just going to be certain tile markers where you click them and you're just going to be able to get the optimal time every time, as long as you just understand the ticks.
Right.
You start every run the exact same. But no, like I mean, Gwyneth Glide is it's not even like the previous two. I mean, Jubbly Jive has like things you're throwing shit at and stuff, but with Gwyneth Glide, the thing I like about it is the speed boosting that you're constantly having to engage with, and that alone has provided a sort of like ability to go faster or slower, like just like it's those little things that all add up. I mean, because technically you could just get the perfect run. I've actually watched several YouTube videos now of like I think it was QHP I saw originally. He had like a compass on his mini map of like showing, it was like A through M or something, and it was like it was like all 16 or whatever the first 16 letters of the alphabet are, but whatever that was, he had it on his mini map, and so he basically just memorized like a certain code and would just click that. But there's obviously so much more nuance to it, especially because he didn't. I think he had the world record run at that point, but now it's been beat several times over again. And I think GE Challenge as well, like watching his runs was really interesting and just fascinating to see. And I think even that's been beat now. So it is really, really cool. I think there will eventually come a point where we know for sure this world record cannot be beat, because there has to be a limit, obviously, unless there's like some glitch. But ultimately, there is an extreme amount of nuance, and there's more nuance to it than, like you said, like Hallowed
There's a
Sepulchre.
higher ceiling. Like it's a higher
Exactly.
ceiling to reach. And I mean, a lot of speedrunning games do have that cap or even theoretical cap. And, unlike RuneScape, where we've had cases where it's like click this tile at this time, right? This case with sailing has a lot more. And, in other games, they'll be like, hey, there's this like shadowy part on the rock you need to bounce off of. Like that's what you're aiming for. And it's like, that's kind of what it feels like a little bit more, where you're not relying on like a square to go on. You're relying a little bit more on maybe setting up that, A through M pattern, or knowing exactly kind of what area you need to click on in order to get like the optimal turn and when to use your boost. Like there's a lot more. So yeah, just the ceiling's going to be higher. And we might have a case where we have a record and it's like, wow, that's the record. And then like a year from now, somebody breaks it.
Yeah,
by like
no, it's true.
a second or something. So
and I think you were totally right in that previous conversation. It's coming back to me. I think we were almost like debating whether it was actually going to be something as complex,
as solved or not.
Yeah. And I was definitely on the side of like, this shit's going to be figured out like immediately, and it's just going to be these constant just run overs. But the other thing that's fascinating about it is I see people slowing down to pick up a crate. They click one tick on to slow down, click it back on. And like, that's the kind of stuff that you wouldn't normally think about. Because, for example, like in Hallowed Sepulchre, actually, funnily enough, there actually are a couple situations where you do walk like a tile and then start running again. But for the vast majority of it, it is just running. You're really wanting to go as fast as you can. But it's a super interesting course too, because there's different ways to navigate. With Hallowed Sepulchre, it's just where the end point is, and there's not a bunch of crates you need to pick up. So it's a little bit different, and you can always create a different path slightly if you wanted to. So it's interesting stuff. Just to be totally honest and transparent, I've only completed an actual like ranked thing in the Barracuda trials on mobile when I was first just going for my whatever that little heart shape is to get the crystal extractor. I did that shit on mobile. It was just pure agony. Wow. There was no markings of the crates or anything else, and I was on hotel Wi-Fi. Just terrible, but we got it done. So the only issue, though, the last thing I'll say on this is the Barracuda trials are totally up my alley. I can see them being something that I would truly, truly enjoy long term. The only issue is that it's just for XP. And when you're playing sailing on an Ironman, there's more to the skill than just getting to 99 or getting to 200 mil or whatever anybody's doing. There's a whole ship upgrade system that you need to upgrade, which takes hundreds of hours, I'm guessing, to even just pimp out one ship on an Ironman. And ultimately, you're going to want to pimp out maybe a couple or maybe even 3 ships. So I am now training the skill with combat and other things like that just to build up my ship. So there's really no incentive for me to be doing Barracuda trials and even port tasks ultimately, because I already do have the pet, and I have 2 pets actually. But
Oh yeah, you got the pet. Okay.
anyway, that's a little bit on my. I wonder though, like, do you think Barracuda trials is balanced where it's at, where there's really no rewards? There's a couple unlocks you get. There's obviously the paints, and then there's just the super high XP rate. Do you think that's enough for those trials
So
to be in a good spot?
yeah, I mean, a couple of thoughts here. First point, and I think we'll talk about this a little bit more later, but I'll throw it out there. In the future, I'm expecting higher level Barracuda trials. And the XP is already so high that are we just going to push that higher? And I don't know if that's the right choice. So I'm thinking maybe the next tier of Barracuda trial can have something else where, yeah, you're still going to get good XP rates, maybe equal to Glide, maybe even a little bit lower, maybe a little bit. I don't know the balance, but there's that additional factor to it where maybe it's GP focused or resource focused so that you can do something like a trial without strictly going for XP. But I think we'll talk about that a little bit later. But something I do want to touch on here, which is probably one of the downsides for me personally with sailing, at least from like an Ironman perspective, is like there, yeah, I mean, there are so many items that you need to go for to upgrade your boat. And you could say why, like you don't really need to upgrade your boat, but I'm the type of player that it's there. I want to try to get the best in slot. I want to try to be prepared for any future launches. So I'm trying to do these things. And I have the exact same feelings towards you. Like I'm not doing trials because I could use my XP to 99 in a more effective way, right?
Yeah.
Port tasks is an example where I could do port tasks because I don't have the pet, right? And it's a really good pet chance, but still, I think I'd rather do that post 99 anyways.
Yeah.
So, and maybe do like the quicker methods that are low
And you
XP.
might get the pet from upgrading your ship as
And
well.
I might get, exactly. So you have all these items you have to go for. And generally speaking, I'm okay with them. And I'm okay with them being rare. And a lot of times when you're going for the items, you're not getting crazy XP unless you're like min-maxing like a bounty tasks and stuff like that. But the XP is fairly low that you should be able to generally get the items you're going for on your way to 99. But the one that like really strikes me as like problematic is the salvaging one, the dragon barrel, the cannon.
Yep.
Because it's pretty rare, which is fine, but it's set up in a way where once you get to level 87, like if you're trying to just go on rate to get 2 of them, it's like you're practically getting to 99 or beyond. If you go dry, I know people. Someone in my comments said they're at 20 million experience and they have 1, and it's just like that experience to me. I don't. It's kind of putting me in a corner where I want to do port tasks. I want to do a little bit of trials here and there, right? And I can't. Like in my own mind, I'm thinking, well, no, I should get my barrels first, 100%. So I'm stuck here salvaging. I'm logging out when I'm salvaging because it's so far away. I'm like basically not leaving this spot until I get the second barrel, and I think that's a bit limiting, in my opinion. So
yeah, the rarities again. It's like you think the hours put in kind of makes sense for if it was a PVM item, for example, that you're trying to go. That's best in slot PVM item, that makes sense because I think it's what 35ish hours doing 1.5 ticking most likely. Isn't it like 60 hours to get one?
God, I don't even know the hours because I'm just thinking in the time frame of getting to 99, and it's just like, will I get it before then or not?
I don't actually know the hours, but somebody, well, I haven't done the math myself, but I think somebody in my chat said it was about excuse me, 60 hours just to get one.
Yeah.
And that's like the AFK. So who knows how AFK they were, but
I'm most of the time I'm trying to do double crewmate because it's like less XP. I'm like trying to reduce my XP per hour so that I won't hit 99 before getting 2. But at least I'm more AFK, right? I can play something else. I can go whatever.
Yeah.
Even right now in the cast, like I'm on the hook, but I'm like, oh, should I be on the hook? Should I just chill? I don't know. It's long, and again, I don't care about it being rare necessarily. I think a couple things. Well, the price of it is super low right now.
That's strange to me, but yeah.
I think it's because no one needs it.
It makes sense.
You don't need it.
Who even wants to? What main has that much incentive to kill shit out on the sea when all you're getting is just more shit to help you kill shit on sea?
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
So I think it will go up in price eventually when we get something to do out at sea, which is happening in 2026. There's going to be like a small scale boss. and when there's a lot less people salvaging because they've hit 99. So the price right now, I'm not like overly concerned that it's like mega cheap. Like Maine should cash in on that ahead of time, if anything. But I think eventually it will go up a little bit. But I think personally that the barrel itself shouldn't be, you shouldn't get it from salvaging.
Mm,
Like I would prefer to get it from like a creature, like either out at sea or on an island or something like that, because those tend to give lower XP overall. Like frost dragons, I mean, I'm not over the moon with the frost dragon situation, right? And I do think there needs to be better sources, but at least while I'm doing them, it's like I'm not putting myself in the same position with salvaging where I'm kind of pushing myself to 99 just trying to get something. It's completely separated. So I would prefer that the cannon barrel was actually not given from salvaging and it was somewhere else. And
mhm.
then you could compensate, I think, by making salvaging give like a little bit more nails and maybe give it like a dragon sheet drop. So that it's still like good to do and it's still profitable in that sense. But you're not like forced to do it because you can get dragon
That
sheets and nails elsewhere.
that makes
You can
sense.
get them AFK through this. Like I think that would have been a better approach, and I would be doing Portas more to 99 and Barracuda Trials. I'd blend a little bit more than what I'm currently doing.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think that's actually one of the better moves to make it so salvaging kind of has a super rare role of basically everything. It's like there's a chance of getting sheets, there's a chance of getting nails, and just throw other things on there that are just stupid rare, but it's not the only fucking source of it. So I'm totally with you. I think the Dragon Cannon Barrel should come from somewhere else. If they threw on a sheet to salvaging at a 1 in 15,000 or so, just something crazy, that at least it would be fine knowing I can get this, but I'm not
Yeah.
forced to get it here, and we can just
Well,
throw it on the
I think
table.
Dragon Cannon something like you need like 8 sheets or something like that to build it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So you have 1 in 20k to get it, and then 8 sheets. It's like so I wouldn't put it at like 1 in 15k. I'd probably make it like a 1 in like 8k drop or something like that for a sheet.
Okay.
So you can maybe get like a couple a week just kind of
Yeah.
AFKing. Like I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'd be cool with that. I wouldn't want it to be like a 1 in 2K or anything too extreme though, because I think it would encourage more diversity to be like, okay, you're kind of looking at all the drop tables and being like, okay, let me go kill frost dragons for the majority of my sheets, and then let's go
Yeah.
here for maybe a few extra sheets that I'll get. Because like sharks, for example, I have one hook, I'm going for one more, but I've gotten a bunch of sheets from it, so I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I
So
want to do vampire krakens because they
yeah,
give sheets and they give the keel and large keel parts,
yep,
right?
yep. I mean, that's the same with sharks too. I've actually gotten two of the large keel parts from like 1,700
Yeah.
sharks I've killed. It's insane. It's like 1 in 6,000. Like the rates. Listen, so we're gonna have to jump into the sort of combat overall. I don't know how much combat you've done
Mhm.
actually, but I've done a decent amount. I haven't done vampire krakens yet. Most of it's just been through sharks. Did a few bounty tasks, but again, it's like we both agree there's plenty of XP that you're going to be getting. So I'm not even worried about doing bounty tasks because it's just going to throw more obstacles in my way to like, oh, I've
Yeah.
gotten my parts. Let me go turn it into 3 separate ports just to go back and get a little bit of XP. Like I don't care. I'd rather get my 10k XP just cannoning and basically AFKing. But yeah, there's a lot to be said about combat. I want to first get your thoughts overall with at least the combat you've got to experience so far. What are your overall thoughts on it?
Yeah, so combat. Okay, so heading into the alpha and the beta, I knew combat was going to be like a weak point in the skill. Um, it wasn't available in the alpha at all, and they said they weren't ready to show it off, right? And then in the beta, it was a little bit clear that like, and they even mentioned, I think maybe even on your cast, that like combat was a struggle to find like the right like way to do it. Like and it felt awkward. And they figured out this method, which is very like point and click, and it works. Like it's serviceable, but it is I think one of the weaker parts of sailing, and I don't think many people disagree with that. In terms of what I like about it, really, the only thing I kind of like about it is that there's like a somewhat interesting targeting system where you can attack one thing with 3 different sources, or you can attack 3 different things at once. Like that's kind of interesting. Like even when I was doing mantas and stuff like that, setting up that process of like you attack this, I attack this
Mm-hmm.
was like somewhat interesting. And it was like you set it up and then you're kind of AFK for like 40 seconds. So that's like the positive part. But generally, I do think it needs like some work. Um, and I think it's so hard right now because I think the only way we'll be able to fully judge um, sailing combat is if we are actually fighting something with mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now nothing has mechanics, right?
Yeah.
You could argue that like the emergent mechanics of like, entangling something and freezing in a spot. Yeah, that's one thing. But if we actually have like a creature, which we're going to get in 2026, that has like mechanics where you have to be like actively moving your boat and dodging things while optimizing to make sure your cannons are attacking, then it's like I think we're getting a little bit more of what combat could be. But right now we're just hitting cows with like 400 HP.
Yeah.
So it's a little tough to judge fully until we get something like that.
Yeah, no, totally. I actually think it's a good thing we haven't gotten mechanics yet because I think it's very important we iron out all these kinks with combat. So
Yeah.
the shooting 400 HP chickens and cows is actually probably the better road to go down. I will say there's a few things I would want to see from combat that would make a world of difference, and that is making it so auto-retaliate is an actual thing. So, for example, like right now, we got a lot of players going to safe spots and stuff, which is totally cool. I've always been a huge fan of safe spots for like normal ground stuff. I hate it when they patch safe spots usually. It's just because like, fuck it. Like people want it, But what's kind of cool is the ability to really just go out into the waters with a bunch of sharks circling you and having like 6 attack you, because ultimately the repair kits are pretty damn easy to make and you get a bunch of construction XP from it. And like you use 1 ironwood log, turn it into a plank and use some nails on it, and that turns into 3 repair kits that are 45 healing each. So like 1 log plus the rune nails, of course, but I had plenty of runes, so I wasn't really thinking of that. Obviously there's that cost too, but mostly it's just 1 plank for 135 HP healed. That's very good. And I like that because you are able to fully justify going out there. Now, as a main, those repair kits do have a price to it. As an Ironman, I'm not really thinking of the price. I'm just thinking I'm just going to use these because where else am I going to use them? And I'm getting construction XP, so this is great. So I do understand as a main the incentive to go safe spot, but I think what would incentivize going out and actually just having your ship attacked is the auto-retaliate feature, which as long as somebody is on your cannon and something is attacking within that cannon's range, you should auto-retaliate it. Why the fuck are we all standing there while our ship's getting attacked? Like, can we please have some sort of auto-retaliate feature? I think that would be amazing. That would just... it would feel, in my opinion, like a more pleasant experience when you are trying to sort of AFK a little bit and just kind of stand in the middle. It's similar to Slayer vibe where you just stand there, maybe use a goading pot, or maybe just have obviously the creatures be aggroed to you for 10 minutes. Like that feels pretty good to just be able to auto retaliate. And I think the same thing should be with the ship. And the other thing is like the button, for the most part, the sailing menu works quite well where it comes to like being able to do a ship repair while you're harvesting or something. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things that I'm actually quite impressed that they were able to like navigate around the engine's issues and stuff and make it so things can happen. But when you're harvesting, you can't direct fire with one of your privateers. So like they're not firing when you're harvesting. There's no way to do it. You can't move your ship while you're harvesting. The harvesting alone needs to be that is probably one of the most tilting features about ship combat, is just how fucking long it takes to throw a net out there and then have the thing like travel this weird distance where it's like moving under the ship and you finally pick it up and it's like that took 8 ticks. Like why? So like telegrab needs to be a thing that's just insta harvest. I just think the harvesting speed should be twice as fast, and it should sort of navigate to you in a more simplistic way that is like as soon as it's touched any part of the boat, you've obtained it if you're not using telegrab, for example. And then there's a lot more, but I'll jump into that in a second. But like those are, I think, the main things: auto retaliate, faster harvesting, making it so the menus work under any circumstances, including the harvesting. So
yeah, I think an auto retaliate makes sense. Actually, I haven't heard that, so I think that would be a pretty good addition. Yeah, and you could probably work it into this menu in a way that like doesn't really change it up too much. Like it wouldn't look exactly like how it looks in the regular combat menu. It'd be like a button of some sort,
Yeah.
like a toggle. So yeah, I think that would be good. The harvesting, I think it's such a cute animation. Like I do
It is
love it.
cute. It is cute.
And one thing that I do kind of like is when you get that satisfying like one tick harvest where you like are
Yes.
on top of something and boom, it's instantly in your inventory. But obviously you don't get that most of the time, and I can't stand it when the character this applies to some things you click on C when it's like because the boat's moving. This is more of a technical thing. I don't even know if they could fix it. When the boat's moving and you click on something and your character runs to like the back of the boat and then has to run to the front of the boat because you passed
Yes.
it, and then it's like, oh my goodness, it's going all over the place. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's solvable, but sometimes in combat, it feels like it does that. Um, but no, I think combat, I think an auto retaliate feature would be kind of awesome to just kind of sit there and attack multiple things at once. Um, I think that they also like, I'm not like, I think two quicker fixes are like, I think the damage is low. Like, I think they could up the damage for the cannons and for the players in whatever method
Yep.
you want to do, right?
Yep.
If you want to like change the HP thresholds and all that, or if you just want to up the damage, that's fine. Uh, that's like quick fix number one. And then quick fix number two is like, I mean, less quick, but still kind of quick is like the cannonball situation is kind of miserable.
Yeah. It's bad.
So yeah, if they could figure out what to do with cannonballs, like to retain them or to be able to get a higher source of them or something like that, I think having more damage plus that is going to make the experience plus an auto retaliate. Like those are things that could be without having to rework the whole system could be implemented and could lead it to being like much more satisfying. And then when you start to introduce something more complex down the line like a boss on the water, then combat starts to feel a little bit better. So I don't necessarily think they have to like rework the whole thing, but I think those like suggestions that you're mentioning and I'm mentioning will like help to smooth it out quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. There's actually a few points on the damage thing. Actually, first I'll say this. We need to be able to click the crystal extractor while under attack. And we also need to be able to salvage while under attack, as in like sort the salvage. You can't use that station when your boat's under attack. Your character is chilling, but your boat's under attack, and so you can't do it. That's so stupid that you can't click a crystal extractor unless you're tick perfect with one creature attacking you. But if you have any more, it's over. Like you're not gonna be able to harvest it.
Dude, what they need to do with the extractor too, like, and like they could solve it through actually like changing the combat itself. But when they nerf the extractor again, which I feel like it will happen, and it becomes like, I think it should become like 50 XP. Like it should give like very little XP, and it should just be focused on giving you a win mote and maybe some crystal shards. But someone mentioned in my comments that if they nerfed it, like they should just make it like a one tick action. You shouldn't have to sit there for like 3-4 ticks to harvest.
You're totally
It
right.
should be like click and you get it.
You're totally right.
I mean, you could do that even now, right? It doesn't really change the XP per hour,
Yep.
like by a couple ticks. But especially if they nerf it to the point where it's use cases for extra wind and stuff like that, I would definitely think about trying to make that like a one tick action.
Yeah, if that was one, that would feel so much better. You're totally right. That would basically solve it. When it comes to saving cannonballs, there's two different things I want to mention, which is and then I'll talk about like the damage scaling. But I would love to say this is actually an idea that came from my Twitch chat. Some guy was saying, what if there was not a crystal extractor, but a crystal attractor, similar to the Ava's attractor, Ava's sort of thing.
Yeah.
So now, you know how it takes a minute to like fully be ready to harvest? This would be something where you activate it and it's just like an attachment to the crystal extractor, but having it activated and not harvesting it allows you to now start saving cannonballs, maybe like 50% of them. So just maybe the crystal extractor really is used mainly for just harvesting when you're not doing anything in combat related. And then you actually want to keep it on and keep that like attractor sort of crystal vibe going on. And that's now allowing you to save half your cannonballs. So it's
That's
like now,
cool idea,
now only one's being shot out. Or that was like a brilliant idea, I thought. I don't think it actually needs to have anything to do with the crystal extractor. It could just be the cannons. If you build it with a certain, I don't know, little piece from Ava, then she allows you to save half your cannonballs. The other, so that's option one, and option two. These are not mutually exclusive, but I really do think stationary ballistas would go fucking hard on a ship. and I think it also allows you to be able to use javelins that we probably have loads of. If anybody listening has grinded a bunch of DT2 bosses, you know how many javelin heads you've gotten and how many javelins you have. So being able to use those and also have that sort of Ava's device saving half of them, and then you could have different weaknesses. So certain creatures on the sea are actually weaker to cannonballs, but ultimately everything can work. I think would be a really interesting move. So what are your thoughts about that?
I think like weapon diversity in general is something that like would be cool to see, and I think that's something that we'll eventually see in sailing. I don't know if that's like a next year thing or a year after that, or but yeah, I think a ballista is a perfect match. I think some sort of like close range one would be cool as well. That does like a good amount of damage, but you can only use like one side and be super close range. That could be cool. Now, in terms of ammo saving, I think it comes down to doing something on your boat or a facility or something like that that could save ammo. Also, like I was just thinking about it now, like why not like be able to put somebody on a salvaging hook during combat and have them like salvage the cannonballs you're firing into the water or something like that.
Ooh,
Right?
there we go. There we go. Yeah, no, that's genius. If somehow
It's already using, then everybody on your boat's kind of doing something. You have two people on the cannon, you have at least one person on the hook, and then maybe you can save some cannonballs that way.
And they already get placed like that. That is an item that can be placed in the cargo hold, so it's perfect.
Exactly. So I think that could be maybe an idea you can go with it. Or maybe it's something that you add to your salvaging hook to be able to do that. But I mean, that's what a salvaging hook does, is it grabs things at the bottom of the water, and there's a ton of cannonballs here.
Yep.
Because you're firing them. So that could be like a direction they go as well.
Totally
I also
right.
think like maybe that Fremennik warship, speaking of salvaging, like that should give a good amount of cannonballs. Like
Yes.
just that way it's not always merchant shipwrecks the whole way through. Maybe that could be a decent source of cannonballs as well. But
You're right.
That's a little bit different. But
I think
ammo saving is important. Definitely.
I think that was actually a missed opportunity when you're talking about different salvaging spots, having them be drastically different. I know they are technically different in a lot of ways, but making it so there still is the incentive to, let me go back to this salvage. It's going to be a little bit less XP, but man, the cannonballs are so lucrative there. Or I'm just looking for, I don't know, fucking gems or seeds or whatever else. And like they all have their individual uniqueness. They already kind of do, but they're all so crappy when it comes to giving cannonballs, for example. Like it just takes like hours to get like 5. Just like, all right.
Oh yeah, it's nuts. And I think they were very conservative with it on purpose. But there's like no reason to not move to like the next salvaging spot when you get the level.
Totally.
Like, and to add a little bit of diversity, you could make some of those higher ones a little bit more useful by giving them something like a good amount of cannonballs. Because you could fix it through ammo saving, but you also have to think about how to fix it through like source, right?
Yep.
And if you're having to make the cannonballs, then that factors in like the entire economy of bars and ores. If you're getting the cannonballs as is, you can be a little bit more like liberal because they're only used for one thing, right? So you can drop like 100, well, maybe not 100, but you can drop like a good amount of cannonballs without messing up the economy. You can't drop, ruined bars like crazy because that would be a problem, right?
Yep.
So yeah, why not the Fremennik shipwreck give a good amount? I mean, that the cannonball stall was a complete disappointment, right? Like
you're getting 1, right?
It's so little. The XP is
so
amazing.
Dumb.
It's a training method at the end of the day because like the XP is amazing.
It's still imbalanced to fuck. Like it's just come on. Like think for a little bit. Like if you're stealing cannonballs, give us cannonballs. Don't give us one every, I don't even know. And isn't it like a variety of them? So you don't even get like the high tier ones?
Okay. Have you done that method,
I have
by the way?
I have not.
Okay.
I haven't even, I think I looked at the wiki table and said 1, but
it's just like, I think it's just rare. It's rarity, right? So, but when you're doing the method, what you do, it's a very satisfying training method, and it's good XP, and it's based on, they have all these stalls around you, and based on your level, you're going to steal from 2 of them. And the way it works is the guards rotate, so you like steal from your main one 4 times, and then steal from your secondary one 2 times, and it's like this easy, simple loop.
That's cool.
But what's funny is when you're at the high level, you're stealing from the merchant, you're stealing from the cannonball stall, and you're stealing from the ore stall, because those are the 2 highest XP. And I feel like I would literally end up making more rune cannonballs, stealing like and addy cannonballs, stealing the ore from the table than the
Jesus
actual like
Christ.
cannonball stall.
That's
I
out
bet
of
you
control.
if I timed it and banked that ore and went to go blast furnace it, I'd probably end up with more cannonballs at the higher tier
I
than I
believe
would
it.
at this stall. The method is incredible. It's a good thieving method. It's just maybe it should have been like a little bit. It should be definitely be better in terms of cannonballs. And if they have to nerf the XP a little bit for that, I'm totally fine with that. It doesn't even like thieving's good. Like there's
Yeah.
always methods for thieving, so you don't really have to. But
I
yeah,
want
that stall needs a lot more.
Yeah, I want to try it out because it would be cool if they actually just pumped up the cannonballs to a reasonable degree. I do feel like their worry is maybe like bots or something, but you can't worry about that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I do think again I would actually need to try out the method, but there's surely a number of ads, more than one, that would still be balanced and still feel good. And like you said, if they just needed to tone back the XP to allow it to give more cannonballs, that'd be great. The other thing is, have you been to Grimstone yet? Have you used that furnace?
Yes. Yeah, I've tried a little bit of it. It's not great. Yeah.
There needs to be a bank there. What are we doing here? Why did we turn a super AFK method into an active method now using this? And it's, somebody said tick perfect, basically. It's only 20% faster.
20. I thought it was like maybe 50, 60%. 20 is
No, it's
nuts.
20% faster than
But it's so much more work. Yeah.
It's so much more effort. Yeah, it's because for those that don't know, there's a fairy ring to get to this furnace on Grimstone that requires 87 sailing. First of all, pretty crazy requirement already, 87 sailing. But you start using it and it goes twice as fast, which is great, but you're only having to do with the double cannon mold, you're already only doing like 13 actual actions there. So you're saving, however many ticks, which is still a decent chunk of ticks. But the problem is then you need to telly out, you need to go to a bank, then you need to telly to your POH, then you need to run to the fairy ring, go to the fairy ring, then you click on the furnace to finally go back. And there's a full on like 8 ticks or something just to go from the fairy ring to the furnace or something, maybe 6 or something. But it's like, why are we doing this when I can just go to Shiloh Village, click the furnace, click the bank, click the furnace, click the bank, and it's like 4 ticks away, and I can just full AFK. I can AFK for longer, and it's just 20% slower. It's like it's barely any slower. And this is it's an active activity when you're actually doing the 20% faster on Grimstone. And whenever are you going to be prioritizing making cannonballs in your active time playing? Like, nobody wants to do that. So it's terrible, and they need to make it so there's a bank chest there that you can build with like the magic stone and whatever else.
Actually make it double speed, basically, right? By having
like they need
basically
to do,
like a couple ticks away.
Yeah, it's stupid the way they've designed it. So stupid. There needs to be a bank chest there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could do someone who unnotes and stuff, but I think like a bank chest is just easiest. Yeah.
Yeah, and then now I want to talk just briefly on the damage scaling. I really believe that there's a few issues. There's only like a few issues with this, which maybe I'll address at the end. But like normal steel cannonballs always hit 30s against things as their max hit. I would love it if that was the same case on your boats, so they're all hitting 30s, and then maybe mithril bars are hitting like 50s, addies are hitting like 70s or something. Rune are hitting like I don't know. Again, these are all subject to change. I'm just saying I want some form of scaling where it really feels like a higher punching cannonball is truly giving you some insane output where it's like, okay, this is actually worth it. I want the jump from mithril to addy to be quite substantial just because you can buy mithril balls, which I have not tried yet because I'm assuming all the shops are just fucked. But addy should be a huge jump from mithril, and rune should be a huge jump from addy, and then dragon should just be like cracked. Like they should just be insane. I wouldn't even be opposed to like dragon cannonballs being able to hit like 150s or something, just insane. But then all the enemies out on sea have drastically higher HP values, and then your character is also dealing full damage as well. So that's what I would like to see personally.
That's a suggestion that like I'm generally in favor of. Like I do like that suggestion because it never feels great to deal reduced damage on your character as well. There are a couple of thoughts though.
Okay.
Like one thing, I kind of wish I was on the cannon in some ways. Like I'm on a ship, I want to
Yeah.
shoot, right? So it'd be cool if that was viable, where I didn't need to attack separately, and maybe there's levers they can do for that. And then second, the other little downside of like scaling the HP and the damage, I think it's a good solution, but I don't know, something about it kind of like ruins a little bit of the charm of RuneScape, where you have like your max hit and it's like, oh, I can max like a 55 or something like that. Oh, I got a shadow, I can hit like a 70. And I get that it's like on water, whatever, but I don't know. For me, it just feels like the charm and seeing these like 100 hit splats very commonly would kind of take away from that, even though it's a completely different
Okay.
system.
That's fair.
That's like just my own kind of like, because even when I was younger, I stopped playing this game when all of a sudden my character did like the damage displayed was 10 times higher. Because I don't know, I love seeing that I could hit like a 15 and it's like now I'm hitting like 152 and it was like confusing for me. So maybe it's coming from like childhood trauma.
Ooh, no, you're right. Okay, so let me cross this by you. This just came to my head because I agree with you that maybe it would be just way too extreme to just really scale the hell out of all this. So what if, and this is partly coming from my own OCD with the fact that other cannonballs can't be fired with the Dwarven multi-cannon. So what if they were to just do a full rebalance of cannonballs across the board and all of them can actually be used in a Dwarven multi-cannon? So this would affect everything. Again, it would not need to go down this route, but there is a part of me that's now thinking that'd be kind of cool to use our other cannonballs on a Dwarven multi-cannon. Why is it just steel and why is it just granite?
Yeah.
But so what if they were to do a full kind of rebalance where this would be a nerf to steel cannonballs ultimately, but like steel cannonballs maybe are nerfed down to like 15 across the board. Mithril or maybe 20 HP. Addy or maybe like, I don't know, 30. Rune becomes 40 and dragons are like 50 or something.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just pulling numbers out of my ass, but something where now all of these balls can be used interchangeably, but on sea or on land. And now you have something that actually feels quite right. And your character, maybe out on sea, there's maybe even sea monsters act sort of like Corp, where most of the time all your weapons are only going to be doing 50% damage. So there really is a use for you to still be attacking. But then there's going to be some items that deal 100%. Like, for example, Trident of the Sea sounds like exactly what should be 100% powerful. You know what I mean? Out on sea.
Oh, yeah. And I expect that in the future we'd have a reward space where we would have like a new item that would deal like 100% damage. Yeah.
And we could even come out with a hand cannon. Just saying, hand cannon could come out at some point. So anyway, just throwing out ideas, but you're right about like the dealing just hundreds and stuff might just look like this really private server, more private server than it potentially already looks for some players. But
yeah, it's like such a small point, but it like irks me enough that it's
right.
like, oh man, it's just so off for me for some reason, off-putting. But I think, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to eventually being able to use all types of cannonballs on the dwarf multi-cannon. I think that's something that maybe comes later down the line when we see like when we've solved the problem with the sources of the cannonballs, and all of a sudden people are saying, I have like a huge stack of cannonballs I wish I could use on my dwarf cannon, right? Then I think that discussion fits pretty well. Maybe it is a rebalance. Like maybe steel gets... Well, I mean, Mithril is so easy to get that the nerf doesn't really matter, right? Maybe I guess if you if you straight up buff, if you did that though, like I guess that shop would be kind of insane for Ironman to just buy like thousands of Mithril.
The thing is like that was I'm so sorry, but that is just such a stupid shop to make, in my opinion. And now it really feels like making your own cannonballs is kind of like a huge waste of time potentially, and just really not worth it. You may as well just buy all of them. I don't like that. I wish they would have just never added any sort of cannonball shop and just made it so you're just improving making cannonballs and improving maybe the thieving stalls of it and maybe improving the drops that you're getting. Why are we making it so it's shopscape? And this was completely not an issue. And then all of a sudden you made a cannonball shop with 5,000 mithril cannonballs. And they're like, why are we doing this? It reminds me of the Scar Essence. It's like, why did we even have to go down this route?
I think that's 100% true. Like, selfishly, I like that I bought like a whole truckload of like iron one and stuff like that because I didn't feel like making it. But that's because the source of cannonballs and the fact that you don't retain any is so bad right now.
Yep.
If they solve that, I think you can like nerf the shop, or you don't even have to necessarily nerf that shop. If you get to the point where you can sustain at some level like your adamant cannonballs, no one's going to be really, other than early game, really, no one's going to be using that shop anyways, right? Because mithril balls are bad. So right now, mithril balls are good because it's a pain in the ass to make them, to retain them, stuff like that. So I think by solving the problem with the balls and the sources and retention, you kind of solve the problem with that shop being kind of cracked right now.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's totally right. And that's kind of when I was talking about the sort of damage scaling, it would be cool if there was a true leap in power over Addy versus Myth and then Rune, of course, because if you were to legitimately smith or like smelt your rune bars to make rune cannonballs, which I actually did for a little bit, and then I realized like, oh god, I'm gonna need all these rune bars for like nails and other shit. But like if it was a true power leap over Addy, which it really should be because it's fucking rune. Like you're using one rune bar for just 4 balls. That takes 10 total ticks for both sides to have shot by that point. Like that is crazy. That's so short, and it would be cool if there was a real power increase in that where it like feels amazing to use it. Right now I'm never using my dragon cannonballs or my rune cannonballs. Like at the moment I'm just, there needs to be something done with them. But
yeah, I'm holding it.
Yeah, and they're not even it's like a max hit more. It's like 1 extra max hit to use it. Like maybe let me look this up. I want to say it was like
I think it's like it's 5 max hits from Addy to Rune.
Is that? Let me see.
Yeah, I was just looking at the table. I think
maybe
1
what
max hit is more like the lower tiers. They're kind of like 1 or 2 max, well 3 max hits, but then there is a bit of a jump. There's like 3 between. Oh, that's granite. Don't look at granite. Oh, 5 between mithril and adamant.
Wait, where is it showing the max hits of it? Can you link?
Yeah, if you wiki like cannon sailing, and then there's a max hit table, and there's like a bracket, and I assume that's NPC damage versus player damage, but the bump is the same, almost the same in some cases.
Okay, so yeah, max hit is. Oh Jesus. Okay. Yeah, so it's assuming you're using the a range pot and also the peril dance.
I don't think the range pot affects cannon.
Oh, it's manually fired. It's if it's manually fired, that's when you're hitting that. Okay. So normally it's just the first number, right? If people are on the cannon, because you're never going to be on the cannon.
Yeah, 99, and and then I guess it doesn't have the table here for NPCs, which NPCs, because they deal reduced damage, might feel less of the bump, I suppose, but I don't see NPC damage here.
Well, it has the privateering, so if you're level 4, oh wait, wait, no, this is just showing who can actually use the cannon. I see, but I'm assuming if you're using a rune cannon, you have to have the level 4 guy, and dragon, you have to have the level 4 guy.
Yeah, but I think the max hits right now are just player, it looks like, on the table. But there is a bump, a pretty good bump, but maybe crewmates don't experience as much of a bump because they deal reduced damage. I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah, you are right. This is on player because I know my Addy cannonballs are not hitting 25s. They're hitting like 21s with the guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and that's with the beer as well. So.
Oh yeah, you're using that. Nice.
Like, see that is so silly. By the way, how
the reduced damage.
It's just how poorly this scaling is. Why the hell would a bronze cannonball be hitting over half the damage of what an Addy ball can hit? Like, you know what I mean? Like bronze normally is pure poop. Why are we making it like pretty damn good? Well, I mean, I get it, but like we should scale it up because these balls become exponentially more expensive. That's the concern of it all.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm looking at bronze arrows have 7 range strength, and what rune has like 49 or something like that.
Yeah, something way up there. And that really
Yeah.
is like a linear thing. Like it's quite shit. I mean, there's almost an issue with, I mean, seriously, it's actually funny thinking about this now, because there always was a concern in my eyes of like just how irrelevant anything below rune arrows are. Like, nobody ever in the game's history is using like addy arrows to shoot stuff, because you could just get rune. Again, this is assuming you have the level to shoot rune, obviously, but like nobody. So when I'm going to like kill Sarachnis and I get 500 mithril arrows, I'm like, this is garbage. Like, it's just, in no world will I ever use this ever. And who is using it? So I don't know. The way they've scaled it in the main game feels odd, because you're never using it. Whereas here, you actually could viably use bronze cannonballs if you did have some and not feel totally shitty about it. So
and this is another one of those things where there is a clear bump in damage. Like, you know, it's like maybe the NPC's like 3 or 4 max hits and the player's like 5 max hits. But we're still at the point where it's like, yeah, I mean, how many rune cannonballs do you have, right? It's not worth the bump. So it's like, man, so many things kind of get solved by the supply issue. Like, you solve the supply issue and it's like 4 or 5 max hit feels great.
Yeah.
Right? When the supply issue is bad, 4 or 5 max hits, not worth it, because you're going to run out of balls instantly. So that to me is very clearly priority number 1. And then some form of damage scaling, like better damage scaling on it. I just think it takes too long to take out some creatures. But
it does.
Yeah. Especially with like when you have like a dragon cannon and stuff like that. Like, it's not even that much better.
You know what? Actually, the more I think about it, what if the higher tier cannonballs kind of maintained a similar sort of max hit as they do now? Maybe bump it up a little bit, but they added some additional sort of scaling where the higher tier cannonballs, the lower likelihood you have of hitting a lower number. So the higher tier you go up, the less and less chance you have of hitting anything lower than like half your max hit, for example. So like by the time you're shooting dragon, you're basically always hitting maybe just under like half your max hit up to your max hit. And so just it feels like you're hardly ever hitting 0s or 1s or up to like 10s. But
yeah, I
the
mean,
lower
that's
tier,
that's something they could do. Yeah. I mean, the stats on the cannons themselves follow the same sort of like, okay, the dragon cannon is more accurate. The dragon cannon has like 1 more max hit worth of strength. If you bump those up more, like the higher tier cannons more, you don't like, I mean, you could go the Fang route and make it like a minimum hit, but like it only being 1 max hit better is kind of low, and its accuracy is like 25 better, which doesn't seem like that much. I would have made the gap between the 3 top tier cannons like a lot wider. Because the bronze cannon is like not accurate. You're gonna hit like 0s on it quite often.
Yeah.
But and it has like no strength, which is fine. But yeah, I don't know. I would have bumped up that. Like, to keep it simple, I probably would have just made the cannons themselves a little bit stronger. Because right now, I think the balls are kind of where the strength lies most of the time. Once you're at like the rune tier, rune and dragon don't have as much of a gap as I would have expected. Just looking at like the accuracy and damage.
Yeah. I failed to mention this. I would love it if the range of the cannons was just slightly larger as well. I know it's over 180 degrees, barely. I think it kind of spreads sort of like in a concave way where it's maybe like a...
Oh, you're saying like the angle of attack?
Yeah. Like the range of attack per cannon. I think it's like maybe 200 degrees in some situations. Obviously, that's just roughly speaking. But I would be okay if that was actually increased to maybe like a 240 degree. Just so, like right now, your cannonballs can already hit in like a weird backward motion that already looks jarring. We see it already. So just increase it a little bit. I hate it when it visually looks like I can attack a shark that's in that 180 degree, but it's just not counting it because it's off by like, like a half tile length or something that looks visually like I should be able to, but I just can't. So I do feel like there's a little bit of annoyance when it comes to that, and just increasing it a little bit so that you're still ideally looking for a 180 degree, but it's going to give you that extra lenience where it's like, okay, this can hit it. It's fine. Not the end of the world. I would love it.
Yeah. Okay. I don't mind the current system with like the 180 degree, and if you want to increase it slightly, that's totally fine. One thing that was like, and I saw this in the beta pretty much, other than the fact that we couldn't have, I think, both sides, but or maybe we could. I can't remember. I don't think we could. But gosh, you look at any game out there, right? That has sailing, right? That you're on a boat and you have cannons and you're shooting. You're always positioning your boat to fire sideways. Like that is just every type of naval combat that exists out there. Like for the most part with these types of boats, not like the modern boats, it's like go sideways and shoot, get to the right side, get to the broad side and shoot.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not the case in old school RuneScape. You want to be in front of something or behind something, right, directly. And it's like, man, I kind of wish if we're keeping it like this and you want to make it a little bit more lenient, sure. But if we're reworking it, like I kind of wish the angle was tighter, right? Like so that you wanted to be on the side. And then you get rewarded for like the positioning, right? Like positioning yourself. And now it's awkward probably because the NPCs they're pathing and everything. I don't know. You probably can't do this. I guarantee you they experimented with this as well, and it didn't work. But just looking at every variance of combat I've ever seen on any game, this is completely different. You're not supposed to be firing your cannons forward like what we're trying to do here.
You have a point there. I think in practice, like you said, like maybe they even did it internally, but I just think in practice having some sort of real practicalness where it's like the more centered it is, the higher the hits are going to be. It just get fucking tilting because you just constantly feel this waste of cannonballs when it's not directly in line and it just hits like a half damage because it's a little bit off. You're just getting tilted over.
Maybe if they like made it so the NPCs always travel like to the middle of the boat, like they path to the middle of the boat. So it's like naturally lining up to your cannon, like that is the focal point for them. But I don't know if the whole like, Southwest, True Tile, whatever, it's just not possible. But I don't imagine that we're going to see these huge reworks. Like I think all the things we're mentioning with combat of how we can improve it, like all make sense and they're smaller fixes.
Yeah.
I don't expect like a massive rework. Like some people I think are expecting something larger. But I don't think that'll be the case.
You're right. I think there's little just sort of like insight that comes from like these real big changes. I mean, because one of the things I thought when you were saying that is imagine you could like chuck a piece of bait out in the water so all the sharks start circling the bait and then you can really line up your ship so it is just a sideways angle and they're all hovering this little area that you pointed out that you threw something out there like bait. And that you just shoot them freely, but then nothing's attacking your ship, and that's a complete rework as well, which just feels odd. But so
no, I think we stick with the simpler suggestions, and then I think the real test of combat will be when we see that boss on the water to see kind of what type of depth we're getting. Because if that boss has like some mechanics that are gonna, the mechanics will make it. It's not gonna be the same. It's not gonna be like line up in front of the ship, attack with a bofa or a shadow or whatever. It'll be completely different. You'll probably want to be on the helm. You'll want to be doing something else, right? So we'll see what happens.
One thing I would love is a full rework of the sailing menu. Like you can include most of it, but I'm sorry, there is, and I understand why they have to do it because you add different facilities and it's going to increase the list of things, but I don't like it when there's a fucking scroll bar that you're actively engaging with, like a menu that you're actively engaging with that now has a scroll bar. Like you have to scroll down to hit certain things. I just find it completely nonsensical, and we should find a way to squeeze everything a little bit tighter. So, for example, like if you're on your ship, do we really need like a massive HP bar in that menu? Like, could we throw it somewhere else? Could we make it on the mini map even? Like you have your HP and then all of a sudden, if you're ever on your ship, you have the ship's HP up there somewhere, so that is instantly getting rid of a lot of clutter. The boat name doesn't need to be on there. You have so much more space. Like there are ways to clean up the space and make it a lot more simplistic. The other thing you could do is, for example, if there was a new HP bar at the top of your screen that has your boat HP, then what you could do is just click the HP right there, and then it would just heal your ship. And what you can
Yeah.
even have is like right click the HP orb and make it so this guy is the one doing it, and then make it just so it's like a menu swapped thing where, okay, my Cabin Boy Jenkins is preloaded on here. Every time I click it, it's an insta heal. And then you have that just completely separate from the menu. So healing is different. And I mean, honestly, because right now the repairing the ship, if I add like a wind mote to my boat, but also want to repair my ship, I have to fucking scroll down, then click the button, then click the guy I want to repair it. It's like, what is happening? This is so jank. Like, there's no reason for this to take so much effort.
Is your wind mote above your repair?
It is. I had to just delete it. I was like, I'm not.
That's so weird because my wind mote is below my repairs.
Oh, really?
Why is mine different?
I wonder if it's because I built it afterward or something, or maybe you built it before. I don't actually know. Maybe there's.
Are you on a sloop?
Yeah, I was on a sloop.
That's weird.
Because I had both salvaging hooks, which are on the very, very bottom, and I had my two cannons, which normally were at the top, with my navigator right above. But if I include, because I built the wind mote after all that was built, and that became the priority right below navigation.
Is it the upgraded Gale Catcher, or is it the?
No, it was just the low tier one's the one that only holds two.
Mine's the lower one and it's below. That's so weird.
That is weird. And there was no way of moving it, so that's another issue. Is like if you're gonna include this scroll bar, which I think is so dumb, and you should just delete it and just fill out the space in a different way. I'm gonna go into like, I'm not an artist, but I want to go into some art program and just design something that makes a little bit more sense, that kind of adds additional space if you do have different facilities, because right now it's too much. Like there's too much space being granted to the simplest things.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it's a struggle, and I think both Mod Husky and Mod Elena have like pretty extensive experience in creating UIs in old school RuneScape, and they were like the two people on sailing, and what they've created is like it's not atrocious. It works 100%. And I think some simple stuff will make it a lot better. I think the best suggestion I saw is, and I mentioned this to you, but for your viewers, the navigation, the whole like steering, stopping, turning, sails, like that part, up arrow, down arrow, that needs to be outside of the scroll box. That needs to be standard there.
Yeah.
And then the scrolling is the other stuff. But the way that this game is like, if you're salvaging, or if you're doing combat, you kind of just scroll to that, and then you never need to move it again, right? Because you have the movement and everything. Or if you're doing deep sea trawling, scroll down to your nets, and then you got your navigation above, because those are the only two things you need.
Yep.
That's one of the suggestions I really like, because technically there's still a scroll bar. I mean, there's so many facilities it might be hard to completely remove a scroll bar, but by doing that, because really we're always scrolling between navigation and something else, right? We're usually not scrolling between other facilities, at least on my boat. So by having navigation be its own thing, you can kind of just prep yourself in a position, and you're kind of customizing where you're going to be based on what boat you're using in your activity. So I really like that idea, but I do think that there's a lot of space here that could be shrunk down quite a bit as well. To save some room, definitely. Like the whole not steering thing below navigation, like I don't even know what that means. Like why
is the navigation, when you can set somebody up for navigation? First of all, why is that whole thing like an extra full chunk just to say the words like navigation or something? Like this could have all been squeezed up.
You don't need that part. The whole assigning thing, you see your character, you see their character, like that's fine. You didn't need like the crew steering, your steering thing on top of that or below that, because that just takes up a whole other chunk. So that can be removed, definitely.
There's ways of just super simplifying this, and even things where there's like previously used buttons. So like for example, I'm actually not on a ship right now. I'm wood cutting, but I can imagine what it looks like. Even if it was something as simple as like Sailor Jacob is always going to be my navigator. So I can set it so that it's Sailor Jacob on there. And if I ever need a swap for me on him, as soon as I click it again, I don't need to click the navigator button and then click Sailor Jacob again. I could just click it and then it does my previously used thing. And there could be a right click option for select new, for example. But the default would just be whatever you just previously had. Just click him, he's back on. Same thing with the salvaging hooks. If there was just an option, and it could even be normally deprioritized where it's like select last selected, but then you would just do your own menu entry swap to make it left click. That would just be so much more simple. and then get rid of the scroll bar entirely and make it so salvaging hooks don't have to require an entire line. It could just be way off in the corner. The 2 salvaging hooks have one singular button, and it's just select. That's it. You're done. There's no click the thing, wait for 1 tick to load, click the guy, and then there's some glitchiness happening if you were just on the hook. That's what I've also noticed as well. If I go to sort my salvage and I pre-select somebody too quickly, it just won't register.
When I tried to be like super efficient with port tasks, I was trying to like assign people to the helm at the right time while I was getting the cargo, and the time it takes to load and then assign them, it was so clunky to do. I think the UI could use a little bit of work, definitely. I think they did an okay job though. It's just the scrolling is probably the main thing, and then sometimes clicking to assign, the 1 tick waiting and stuff is a little awkward, but
yeah,
I'm okay with that one if that takes a little bit more time for them to figure out. But I think first and foremost is to find a way to eliminate the need to scroll when playing a game.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're totally right. And I do want to mention, just because you mentioned as well, like they've done such a great job with so much of sailing. I'm truly impressed. And even I want to actually talk a little bit about the salvaging update that happened, where they kind of like nerfed it big time for a couple days and then brought it back. Because one of the beautiful parts about that whole issue was what we came away with. So one is like there's double spots everywhere now, which was so good of them to have designed. I think that was absolutely essential to do. And I love now that 4 boats or 4 salvaging spots are up out of 6 instead of what it previously was, which is like 3 of 6 or something, or even like 2 of 6. I don't know what they had changed it for a couple days, but now it really feels like you can be at a double salvaging spot, and in an hour you can reliably just not have to hop at all. There are occasional hours where you will have to hop a couple times if you just get unlucky, but I think somebody did the math. That's like a 3% chance whenever anything moves of you being fucked over and not having any of the shipwrecks up on your double spot. So it's very low chance of it happening. I think that was brilliant. And then just salvaging in general, I think they've put in a really good spot, and I'm glad they turned the 5 tick salvaging back into 4 tick, because it means that tick manipulating is not the biggest advantage of all time. It just ends up being like maybe double the XP if you're going to be doing full 1.5 tick versus like full AFK, which I think is very well balanced.
Yeah, that sounds good. I haven't tried the tick manipulation. I wanted to give it a go, but I never come out here with my knife and log.
Dude,
do you like it?
Listen, it is. So I was pretty resistant toward the 1.5 tick. I love the 2 tick. The 2 tick is stupid easy. You don't even need a knife or log. You can use both salvaging hooks, and it's really, really good. So it's a 2 tick action. I have a couple of videos showing it off, but you just stand adjacent to one of the hooks, click that hook on tick number 1, and then on tick number 2 you click the alternate hook, and then at that point you're in the 4 tick cycle. So 4 ticks after that you click on the other one, and that is all it is. It is just clicking every 4 ticks one singular time, and it's a 2 tick action. So that is over 150k XP an hour.
Oh wow.
That was assuming 1 dragon hook. Maybe even with 2 rune hooks you could probably still get that, but that's very chill. But I was impressed because I finally decided to just give the 1.5 tick a go. I feel like I've been so resistant because I'm just so pissed off that in almost 2026 we still don't have an item that can just do what Knife Log does in 1 click. Gnome Cube, that would be great. But so I feel like I've always been resistant to it. But I have to say, it's actually quite doable, and it's not bad at all, because one of the benefits of it is as long as you have some guy on your helm, your camera's not even moving, so it's just the most consistent clicks of all time. There's no dropping involved either, besides obviously just after sorting you just drop stuff, but it's just knife log there, knife log back, knife log there, knife log back, and that's all it is. And then you get this massive amount of time where you're full AFK sorting, and I think that good balance of like a little bit of quickness, a little bit of like wrist potential discomfort for some would eventually balance out, because then you get to sort and chill out for a little bit, rest your wrist, and then you go back to it. And I think it's just like a really good rhythm where it's not too intense, actually, even with 1.5 ticking. So
yeah, like you're doing shifts. No, that sounds odd, dude. Salvaging is like as an option for everybody. Like, at all tiers of XP. Uh, it's got some of the most ridiculous, probably the most ridiculous version of AFK skilling in old school RuneScape. Like I can't even
100%.
think of something else where you're just not doing anything for 20 minutes. Now, when that 20 minutes is done, you have to kind of sort salvage for like 5 minutes. So there's a little bit of like active
Maintenance.
time with
Yeah.
that, which is interesting. Nothing's really like that either. But it's got that, and then it's got the intended method, which I assume is just supposed to be you on a hook with a crew member, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
is still pretty good. That's like your typical AFK, right? Where it's like filling up an inventory. After the changes, it's basically filling up an inventory, which feels good. And then you have the active tick manipulation, which they've always encouraged, or they knew was going to be a thing with launch and everything, given the fact that people were doing it in the beta and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, salvaging is really good. I think salvaging is almost too good. Just given how AFK and also just how good the rates can be. But there's better methods if you want straight XP, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the beauty of sailing. I'm actually kind of talking a little bit about XP rates. I'm like a little shocked how good the XP rates are across the board. I did not expect them to be the levels that they're at. I expected them to be the high end. I expected 130, maybe 140k. That's Barracuda trials. That's 1.5 ticking.
Mm-hmm.
So them being so high is a little bit of a surprise because future content, it's going to be a little bit harder to balance. And it's a quick 99. No question, this is a quick 99. Not the quickest in the world. There are ones that are much quicker, especially the buyables. But it's relatively quick. But it's not just the speed, and I talked about this in my video. It's not just the speed of the skill that makes this an easy 99. It's the fact that you have options, right? I can go to Barracuda Trials and I can gain I could go there for 2 or 3 hours and gain 500,000 experience more, right? And then I'm oh, okay, I'm kind of done. I'm gonna go watch a movie now, right? And I could go salvage, look at my phone 4 times in 2 hours and gain another 80k plus XP, right? And not many skills are like that, right? Where you have the option to get to 99 through various methods and you can just switch. Even if agility had a 200k, let's say Hallowed Sepulchre was 200k per hour, right? Yeah, agility becomes pretty fast at that point, but you have to do that the entire time. I can't just be oh, I'm kind of done with Sepulchre now. I'm going to go on the hamster wheel now and sit AFK for 10 minutes to gain 30k an hour. You can't do that. So sailing is not only quick, but I think the big thing with sailing is it's fast. It's easy.
It is.
Because you can just switch between those activities. Or even if you're not switching, there are some players who are they're never into active skilling, right? It takes them a longer time to get skills like rune crafting to 99 or agility. That's kind of the position that I'm in, where it's if I have a skill where I can kind of AFK it for low rates, even if it's 40k an hour, 30k an hour, I'll get it to 99 through that. So there are players that are more attuned to that, where they're just going to salvage to 99 and it's going to be pretty good XP. And they'll get 99 within a month, which is I didn't expect. I didn't expect that, but
I'm grateful for the XP rates personally. Truly, I was concerned over, and people know this if they go back to my old videos. I was very concerned when Elena said top XP is probably going to be about 100k, and I know she obviously clarified that later, and people were saying the team was saying we don't know what the XP rates are. They were very good about repairing that and also saying we are not going to reveal what the XP rates are. But honestly, I was kind of with you where I was maybe 140k is what they're kind of aiming for at the top end at 99. But this is exactly what I was looking for. I was looking for these exact rates where you could, at a high level, 87 plus, expect around 100k an hour, sort of AFKing it, and then the very, very top end, 250k. That was the fucking sweet spot that I was looking for, and we got exactly that, which I find to just be the perfect XP rates. Now, you could say maybe salvaging should have been toned back a little bit, the full AFK salvage, and I honestly think the full AFK salvage actually isn't as good as 100k. I think, what is that, 70k if you have 2 NPCs on a hook and you're going to AFK for 30 minutes straight. It's got to be worse than even 70k. I want to say
it's worse. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's worse. I haven't tracked it in a while. I was tracking it when I was really quickly, like when sailing came out, the day after I had to go to Montreal for like 4 days. And I was like so sad as a content creator, especially. I'm like, I
Yeah.
want to make videos and everything like that. So day one, I was like going hard. I was like top 100, whatever. I was like level 50 something. And then I'm like, now I'm going to fall behind. And then it's like, I just salvaged like for like 10 hours a day on my phone
Yep.
doing the AFK thing. And I came back. I was like level 78 or something like that.
Yep.
After and I skipped Jubbly Jive, dude. Like I went there to get
Yep,
my
yep.
I went there to get my my unlocks, and then I was like, okay, that was fun. And then I left because this method existed. If it didn't, oh my gosh, I would have fallen so far behind.
Yeah, no, I was straight up the same. After 2 days of sailing, I flew out to Colorado for 12 days, and I was like, God damn it! Like, I'm gonna be so far behind. Like, I guess I'll try to salvage and maybe hopefully get to like level 70 by the time like the almost 2 weeks is up. No, I got to level 88. Like
It's nuts.
straight up salvaging. It was, and I got back that Tuesday, so like the very next day was when salvaging just got this huge nerf. I was like, thank God I went so hard. Then it got repaired, obviously, but yeah, truly getting to level 88 by basically doing nothing. And this is back when you could just have 2 NPCs on, and your guys just sitting in the middle of the boat waiting for the cargo to fill up. Like it was that good.
And so like you say like you're happy with the 250 rate and you know the salvaging rates, and yeah, I think most people are gonna be happy. But like let's say this was launched and the top end was like 200K and salvaging was like, instead of being 110, it was like 75. I think people would still be happy. Like there was so much room for that happiness, and that's why I'm just a little surprised it's as high as it is. But it's somewhat irrelevant what the rates are. I mean, in some ways, I would have preferred lower for this exact reason, like what we were talking about with the Dragon Barrel. But getting to 99 is like a much smaller piece of the pie of sailing than I thought. Like because of the drop rates and the upgrades, if you're interested in those things, those are like, that's the real grind. That's what takes you way into the 15 20 mil sailing XP or whatever, versus like the actual getting 99. And maybe they did that on purpose, because there's like the people most not looking forward to sailing were people who wanted their max cape back. And it's like, okay, well, here's your 250K, or here's your 100K AFK, or 70K full AFK. Get your 99 back, whatever. But now the sailing grind, when you reach 99 to get your hooks, your barrels, your fishing boat set up, all that, like, is going to be much longer of a process.
Yeah. That I heard that little screech.
That's my little girl.
She's so cute.
Yeah.
She doing all right?
Oh, she's doing fantastic. She's the best. I don't know why she did that, but she's young. She's young. She's a baby. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's cute. Yeah, I think the XP rates, ultimately, yes, I agree with you that they could have been toned back like 20% or something, and it would still been fine. But I think at this point, they're so good, and touching them in any way might cause issues. Obviously, we will see. If they were to nerf salvaging by any amount at this point, people would just be pissed off, and they are not going to risk any of that anymore.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah.
So
and like it doesn't matter, man, whether I get 99 like 2 weeks earlier than I thought I was going to get it or not. It's like at the end of the day, I'm still like having to kill thousands of sharks and frost dragons and all that to unlock sailing completely.
It's a nice position on this account that I'm playing, Squad Cam. I mean, it's getting up there. It's base 80s. Most of it's base 90s in skills. But just knowing I don't have to get 99 sailing at this very moment to get my max cape back, it's a really good position to be in, because I can just now milk the last little bit of sailing. I mean, I still do need one more cannon barrel, so that's basically just going to happen regardless. I'm for sure gonna be over 99 before I get it. I'm pretty sure on it. But
so I'm a lazy maxer, right? And as a content creator, it's like, oh my god, he's not maxed. But like, I'm not maxed on my account, my Ironman, which is my main account, right? But like, I have like 700 million experience, right? Like I could have maxed like 4 times over.
I guess it's just like twice over at this point with sailing, because it's like 300 and.
Is it 300?
I think it's 300 mil. It's like 297. If you were to get everything 13 mil, it would end up being like 297 mil.
Was it 28 skills? Yeah, okay.
But no,
Two times over.
no. There's 24 skills. There was 23. Now there's 24.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, okay.
Times 13 mil. What's that?
Let's bust out the calculator.
Because now it's over 300 mil to max once. It's like probably 310 mil.
Yeah, 310. Okay, so I could have maxed 2 and a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a shit ton. Yeah.
But I like I'm the type of person where I will not max skills, and then an update comes out and I get to like kind of enjoy the update.
Yep.
So like fishing is close to 99, and I was like, well, let me just wait for deep sea trawling, and then I'll get some fishing XP through that, right? Just to have like, you know, I'm gaining multiple things, not just the resource or whatever. But it's hilarious to me that I've had this account since like 2020, and like sailing has passed smithing, has passed rune crafting.
Yep.
And is actually, and this is how you know I'm a lazy maxer. It's gonna pass fire making. My fire making is 96. I literally could max that in like 4 hours if I just go to Wintertide, or 6 hours. But I don't. I just sit on it. It's mind blowing to me that sailing is like
just shot
not my
past
lowest
all of
skill.
them. Yep.
Yeah.
No, it was.
And it's gonna pass them. Yeah.
It was shocking for me. I mean, my fire making, I think, in the first month of the account got to 90. It's still 90. It's been another year. I just done nothing with it, and sailing's 96 now. So I'm like, all right, yeah. Sailing is one of my top skills now. So
yeah, it's just so that's a testament to the rates, but it's not just the rates, because if it was just 100% Barracuda trials, whatever, I probably wouldn't be this high, because I would have just like agility. Like I'm 96 agility because I haven't I won't just sit there actively and do Hellsepulcher like for long sessions to get a level, right? So
what are your thoughts on a new, because we were talking about like a new Barracuda trial. I think that'd be super cool if it was rewards based. Maybe it's in Tizar area, so you have a lava course. I just think that'd be fucking cool. A little lava lake that you're going around. You have to build like maybe that would require some attachment to like a dragon helm, or so you're like forced to have like a dragon keel going on, sort of. I don't know, maybe there's some sort of like magical imbue you got to get. But I was also thinking, what are your thoughts on a new salvaging spot, like a level 95 or something, that maybe like, I don't know, I want it to just be a good place to get like, I don't know, your sheets or something a little bit that, but like the loot, the normal loot. I'm even thinking, what if there was a new salvaging spot that required dragon hooks? So at level 95 or whatever, you now have a new salvaging spot that's actually maybe like lower normal loot per hour. Maybe you're just getting a bunch of truly a bunch of garbage, but the rates on the actual uniques are a little bit higher. Or make it just so it is a little bit better, but the XP per hour at this salvaging spot, because like right now the XP per hour keeps going up. Whereas you see mining, if you start mining runite rocks, you're going to get terrible XP per hour, but you're getting runite. Yep. Whereas I think it would be cool to have like a level 95 salvaging spot, requires dragon hooks. The XP per hour is terrible, but the loot is going to be much better, and you have the chance of getting sheets, and maybe even an increased chance of getting the dragon cannon barrel. But again, the XP per hour is now going to be about like 50k AFK and about like 100k at the top.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's obviously room for additional salvaging spots in the future beyond 87. I think they need to serve a purpose. Yeah, so it could be loot focus or anything like that. I don't know if I agree that you need a dragon hook, just because if I'm thinking about like all dragon equipment in the game, like in terms of like gathering, mining, harpoon, stuff like that, like there's never really like that requirement to need it, right? So just to keep the pattern, I wouldn't. But no, they could definitely add something, and I think before they add a new one, I would hope they won't do this. They'll add a new one first. But I like we were saying earlier, I wish some of the lower tier ones had that kind of thing you're explaining, where it's like I might go to the Fremenic ones if I want, you know, cannonballs, because there's a good amount of cannonballs from there. Right. Or I'll go to like the fishing one at low level if it had actually okay fish. But then the other thing with salvaging, man, this salvaging station on the boat, I did not expect was going to be a thing. It's obviously incredible.
Yep. I remember when I first built it, I was like, this is so much more broken than I was like getting used to.
I was full on the impression that we would fill up our cargo hold and go back if you wanted to sort the salvage.
Yeah.
And I feel like all indications were that, because they were like, you can drop the salvage or you can sort it, right? And it's like, did this table come in later into the development? And then they were like, okay, maybe we'll run with this table. In some ways, like, yeah, I mean, if we have a salvaging spot where it actually is worth it to take back the loot, I don't know, man. It's so tough, like, because the station is incredibly strong, but man, all these red topaz that I'm dropping, like, breaks my heart every time.
It's so, dude, that's a gem bag issue. What the fuck? Like, why don't they fit gems?
Dude, it's now the one strategy I've been doing, and this is gonna be better when I have the Rosewood Hull. When I'm done with salvaging, I go back with a full inventory of salvage. So at least I got like the 200 I can sort and keep. So I'll at least acquire some gems that way and stuff like that.
See, I can't even do that because I still feel like I'm XP wasting when I am just sorting and not having two guys on the hook. So like taking it all back, technically it would be good if I wanted to keep some red topaz. I think I'm set for red topaz at the moment, but that's actually a good idea, honestly, to do it just for those topaz.
It's like every spot is like that though. Not like whether it's whatever point in your account topaz, not it's like you're dropping pretty much everything. You're keeping a few things. Like I forgot to bring my herb sack before this cast, so I'm dropping all my herbs. But usually I bring that.
Yeah, you definitely got to keep that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the stackable stuff and stuff. I don't even have a seed box.
Bro, you got to get a seed box too. That thing pumps out. Let me look at my loot tracker right now because it's opulent salvage 11,000, salvage 11,700. The herbs are great, obviously, like roughly around 70 of each, and they're all the high tier ones. And then seeds wise, 50 toad flax seeds, which is fucking awesome. 25 aventos, 10 snapdragon seeds. Like, I don't know, it adds. I guess it's not that extreme. Here and
there. Yeah, the herbs are definitely great. I love the platinum tokens too, because especially before the loot tracker, I'm gonna use that as a way to know how many roughly I salvage to get my 2 hooks. Or my 2 cannon things, because
interesting. Yeah, that's a
common drop rate, and it's the only unique item I have, right? Like platinum, I don't have any other platinum tokens from anything else. So
shit, that's actually I'm an idiot for having translated them back into coins, because I actually did a lot of salvaging on mobile, and I don't have like the stats to back it up. So I've always been kind of concerned of like how many salvages I've actually done. I don't even think I'm over 20k though total. And I already have a.
I am, but I don't know about opulent. I think opulent I might be getting close to 20k. I have 1 barrel, so I think I'm doing pretty well. But
yeah, same.
On mobile, it combines all salvages together. But yeah, I'll just use the platinum tokens. It'll get pretty close because it's a common drop rate enough that it should be pretty close to the actual drop rate, right?
Yeah, I love how they're very like the opulent salvage is great because it's just like the high tier seeds, high tier herbs, none of the true garbage. But it would be cool if you could actually hold the lesser tier gems in a gem bag. I don't know why that's not a thing. Also, kind of side tangent, but why is there still the potential to break these lesser gems? If that mechanic is decided to stay in the game until the end of time, fine, but it should truly scale so that at level 99 you are no longer doing it, or at least with a crafting cape. But I would honestly be okay with the linear scaling of like, if you're level 96, I'm sorry, I'm level, what am I, 95 crafting. I should not be breaking still like 30% of my red topaz. Is just out of control. Like, what is...
I think that's totally fine. Make it linear, make it the cape. You could also add like just a tiny drop from some future content that's like a pair of gloves
that just doesn't break
like
him.
A jeweler's gloves or something like that. That like gets to the point where you don't break him, right? Like it could be also scaling. It could be better. Could kind of be like cooking gauntlets, but for gems. And that can come from like future quest content or drop or whatever skilling content. But yeah, 100%. The breaking is annoying.
And then hear me out here. I want to get your take on this. So I thought of this idea during the 2-day break, basically, of like them breaking salvaging and making it so salvaging or sorting opulent salvage was only 34 XP instead of like 95, which is just nuts. And when that had happened, I was thinking it would be super cool if there was like a double time sorting mechanic where, similar to an herb patch, similar to an allotment patch, you click it twice, or spam click it as some do, and then release, then you're doing the double salvaging. And that made sense with the nerfed XP rates. I thought it would be cool to have a sort of double thing. But now I'm thinking, let's just say you want to get your dragon hook faster. Again, I'm not even fully sold on this idea. I'm just purely spitballing. But what if there was a way to double time your sorts, but you have the same XP? So you're cleaning 2, but you're still only getting the XP for those, or for like 1 XP drop. So you're cleaning 2, but you're only getting XP for 1, but it's double timing. So it's a way, if you really want to just speed up the dragon cannon thing, this actually is a significant speed boost, but you're losing out on the AFK XP kind of. But ultimately, it still would be worth doing this, especially if you're going to be like doing any form of tick manipulation with the actual salvaging hooks.
So no break for you in between your 1.5 ticking.
Yeah, I mean, there would be a break. It would just be half the break.
A little more chill, yeah.
Yeah,
you click twice, quick time or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
click.
Yeah.
I'm just
Wait, are you saying I thought you were thinking like Giant's Foundry, where like you click on like the critical hit or something, and it like does two at once?
No. I'm saying more like an herb.
Oh, like literally a quick
patch.
sort. Okay.
I'm saying like you click twice, even if it was well, here, let me just stick with what I was originally saying, which was just treating it like an herb patch or an allotment patch, where you can just click the herb patch one time, get singular harvests, 1 every 3 ticks, or you can start spamming it and then release, and now you're getting 2 every 3 ticks. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Okay. I've never done that with allotment patches, but yeah.
Yeah, with herb patches and with allotment. So like if you go and start harvesting your snake grass, you can actually just spam click it at first, and you start getting 2 every 3 ticks. I think something like that could be interesting for the sorting salvaging, and make it so there's a trade-off where you can do it just single time speed. You're going to get the XP for every single one, but you could do the double as well. But then you're still only getting the same XP per hour, so you're losing the XP for half of your salvage, but you're speeding it up in a way. Like, I don't know. Maybe this is like a bit too just not worth it for some people. They would rather just AFK it, but I think it would be cool maybe to have an option to speed up that cannon grind, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that's something. Maybe in the future they could have an upgraded salvaging station that allows that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
An upgraded an upgraded sorting station, maybe that.
Yeah. Sorry, sort station. Yeah.
No.
That would.
You're right. It is a salvaging station. I was thinking of because salvaging hook, salvaging station. What if, in your eyes, what could it be though that makes it so it's upgraded without being overpowered?
So you could just make it sort salvage like 1 tick quicker. Like it's just a generally quicker process. Right, but then it's just a straight up upgrade at that point.
Yeah, that is
it's not a choice.
That's 50% more XP per hour too, just from the sorting, which sorting's already pretty damn good. So that's my concern.
Yeah. So I don't know, or it gives you the option to do that. Right, to like speed it up.
Would it be like a lower XP per sort if you did that, or is
probably
it like...
yeah, probably.
Because I would.
I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. Yeah, it's because so you're just generally wanting to get to the hook quicker. So you want to salvage.
Well, I'm not trying to get to the hook quicker.
Sorry, not the hook, the cannon.
I mean, yeah. I'm trying to just get the unique faster. So what is a way of doing that without breaking XP rates, but also making it feel somewhat like it's still part of the game? Because already my idea fails the test of like, I don't want any part of it to feel like shit. So if I'm losing XP for half of my salvages sorting, that's not going to feel great. But at the same time, there's the payoff of like having it done quick. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
Maybe this isn't necessarily quicker, but it's another way. But maybe, I mean, we'll have to figure out the menus. If you could have put a crew member on this sort station. Oh God! But then they don't know what to do with the loot. That's the thing.
That's the one issue.
Because then that they could give reduced XP, and then it might not be quicker, but at least you could be doing other things like still tick manipulating and stuff like that.
That would be exactly it. You're right. That would be good.
Yeah, but they don't know what to do with the loot. So, unfortunately,
ooh. Okay, think about this. Let me know your thoughts. A bank deposit box on your ship.
Oh man, that's so strong. Yeah.
How strong is it though? Like I understand you can bank all your loot, so there's no dropping.
Yeah.
which is obviously very powerful, but that would at least allow somebody else to sort for you, and then all they're doing is just depositing into the bank. So it brings out
Yeah.
an option. It's
It
also
would
broken in the way of,
it would break deep sea trawling completely.
oh, you're right.
Yeah,
Okay.
because there's the whole loop there of
Thank,
filling up your cargo and then going back. And that's what
yeah.
I wanted more of that in sailing, by the way. And I'm so happy that deep sea trawling did that. Salvaging, I love the salvaging thing. Don't get me wrong. The places that you're looting are far from docks as well, so it would be annoying to go back and forth. But I always had this vision that we would go out, get a ton of something, and then go back and kind of sort through our stuff. You know.
You're totally right, dude. That was that feels better, but at this point in time, it would feel worse because we're so spoiled.
It would feel worse.
Yeah.
Now, if they made the XP really good for sorting, and because you're going to the dock, then you could still make the XP rates overall the same, but it's much more active to go back and forth, and it's far.
Yeah.
So this is fine because deep sea trawling, I have that fantasy there anyways. So I don't know about a deposit box because it'd just be so hard to balance, and yeah, it would break certain activities, I'm sure.
Okay, that's fair.
Also, like, I know they changed it. If your boat capsizes, you lose stuff in your cargo?
Yeah, I think you lose all the cargo.
Yeah, so imagine it's like, I'm about to capsize, let me just deposit everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if there's any version
right.
of PvP in the future, any version, this is probably years from now, then yeah. But
Totally right.
I don't think there's too much that needs to be done with salvaging. I think salvaging's in a pretty good place. I think if you
Okay.
want to get the unique quicker, you have tick manipulation, and I think that, again, I think the barrel should come from somewhere else anyways. Because it doesn't feel like it fits as well in salvaging.
Okay. Let me get your take on. Well, so I have not done any trawling yet, so I actually want to hear that. But I also want to get your take on port tasks.
Yes.
So those have
port
all
tasks.
been port tasks. I feel like have really been figured out these days, where it's pretty good. So
yeah.
I want to hear your. Just tell me exactly like how good can port tasks end up being. What are metas for pets, for example? Because I think there's some weird metas where like you're getting way worse XP per hour, but you're just going back and forth between like some short ports. So yeah, go into that.
Yeah. So port tasks. I think port tasks out of the 3 core training methods is probably my favorite because it's like a solid mix of intensity and XP. It's not as frustrating as a Barracuda trial in terms of like if you mess up, you got to, I mean, most of the time you don't reset now, but still, if you mess up, you're wasting potentially 10 seconds making, a rotation to grab a crate or something like that. Like port tasks are like a good amount of intensity, and they require just a little bit of thinking. That's becoming more and more brain dead with plugins. But what you can expect from port tasks when you reach the point where you're doing like, the Barracuda trials at the end, the Gwyneth Clyde, with like an ironwood hull, I was getting 175 to 180k per hour, the rates, which is very like competitive, very good rates. And if I had a rosewood hull, which I would probably stick on my skiff because it's much cheaper, it would be over 200k. So over 200k sounds really good considering like Barracuda trials are, I don't know what, 230k, 240 high end, maybe a little more. And it's just a more chill experience. And the things that I like about it, you can interact with a lot of sea randoms, which there's a lot of benefit there, like getting your pearls and your log slots. Best way to get them, other than trying to force them, is probably doing port tasks because they pop up fairly. Because it seems like sea randoms are based on how much you're traveling and loading chunks, right? So it's great for that. The event, the one event where you get those blue things showing up on the water that give XP.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to talk about?
Yep.
Like, I actually love that event. Sometimes it's annoying where the direction they go, but it scales based on your level, right? So, like, at my level in, like, the mid-90s, I'm getting, like, 4,000 experience for doing that event, right? Which is really good. And then in, like, the mid-80s or something, it's, like, 2,000 experience, right? Like, every time you reach a new threshold, you're doubling the experience that you're getting from that activity. And then there's a couple other randoms that are, castaways and stuff like that for more XP. So it's great for interacting with that. It's great because you take advantage of your charting more than anything else through port tasks because you're unlocking rapids everywhere. And when you have those rapids unlocked, like you're utilizing them and you're bumping your XP per hour. And the overall loop, like the system, I personally, when I was playing in the beta, I wasn't a fan of the ABA tasks, the tasks where it's like you're starting here, you're going somewhere, and then bringing it back. I wasn't a fan of those, and I was already thinking like, well, why not just teleport to the starting location anyways? So in some ways, I wish those just didn't exist for simplicity. Like it was just go to a location.
Yeah.
But we do have this method, and when you're using the method of Lunar Isle, etc., and Relica, you get in a very comfortable loop. There's like very obvious tasks that you're going for, and then you're always starting back in Alderaan or Sunset Coast or Deepfin. It depends what your area is the most southern. And then there's also, now a lot of people will say that port tasks are very RNG based, right? Oh, I got a bad board and now my XP rates are tanked. This is like not 100% true, because in Alderaan and in Prif, there's always a task. There's like on certain boards, there's always a task. So in Alderaan, there's always a task that brings you to Prif, and then in Prif, there's always a task that brings you to Lunar Isle. So even if you don't fill up your board, you can always get that task in Alderaan and always get that task in Prif, and it's like a total of like 5,500 experience. But yeah, I'm getting into the weeds of experience and whatnot. But overall, it's like to me, it's a very satisfying method that requires a little bit of learning and thinking. But it's like one of those ones where you can like just chill. You can watch videos and stuff like that because it becomes pretty second nature, and it's got a really good pet chance as well. Now, if you're going for the pet, I think I did the calculations. It was much low. Like this is if you're doing the high XP method. It was still much lower than anything else, like by far. But if you want to get the fastest rate, I think the method is you are going to Alderaan and you're accepting Alderaan to Sunset Coast or Sunset Coast back to Alderaan tasks. There's like 2 tasks, and you just constantly pick those 2 tasks as they show up and just go back and forth between Sunset and Alderaan, which is like a 10-second drive. And it's the best way to get a pet with low XP. And you could also take advantage of this like cool tech as well, which I do with all my tasks, but especially there. I don't know if you know this, but when you're disembarking, if you click your boat in like the opposite direction right before disembarking, when you disembark, your boat continues to rotate.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Oh man, it does like a full 180.
Yeah.
Right. So when
yeah.
you're going to certain ports, like if you're doing the pet hunting, for example, you can 180 Sunset Coast back to Alderaan. Although I think for that one, you're just teleporting back to Alderaan. So it's not applicable to that. But for any of the other port tasks, like if I'm going to Civitas or something like that, you do like this beautiful 180 and it's so satisfying.
So is there any sort of navigational controls, or is it as soon as you're entering that area, click back and then the very next tick, click disembark? And then it does
and as long as you did, so normally it'll do a wide turn, right, when you're doing that. So you won't like, but as soon as you leave your boat, it does that sharp turn. It stays
still. Yep.
And it'll literally rotate for 5 seconds.
Oh, that's
like
so good. See,
180.
It's funny because I only know about that because of all the fucking misclicks I've done while killing great white sharks. And my boat will just do a full ass 180 or something, or even when I've like reversed, it just does some crazy stuff. Even when I was on mobiles trying to go to a singular salvage spot here and there, it would do this stupid reverse whenever I misclick. So I know exactly what you're talking about. But it's cool that it actually has a legitimate use for just
it does.
this.
It saves you a lot of time. Like it actually saves a lot of time because turning around can take, it takes quite a few ticks. So port tasks, I love port tasks. I wish I could do them more. I do wish that they, I thought that they were going to be a little bit better in terms of like resource, like GP stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting GP equal to your XP. So it's horrible. It's like 200K an hour. So it's not good. I wish that they gave like little, I don't know, loot boxes or something at the end, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. That would have been good for port tasks. Also, there's like this weird tech I wish I can figure out. So you know the crates that you can find from sea randoms?
Mm-hmm.
Like a lost oak crate, lost mahogany crate, those ones that pop up. So you see a lot of them when you're doing port tasks, right? Like I say a lot, it's relative, but port tasks are the most events. So you see those pop up a lot. And the highest tier 1 Ironwood has a 1 in 8 shot of dropping dragon sheets.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. So, but you need like 95 sailing plus. But it's like if you look at the wiki, it's like super rare even when you're at like 95 plus to see Ironwood crate, and then it's a 1 in 8. So it's like if those were better, it would like actually help to make port tasks even better, because between if you're optimizing for the clam event for like high elks, and then you're also getting those crates here and there, and maybe getting a couple dragon sheets here and there, at least you're getting something out of Poor Task. Because right now it's really just the clams, and I have yet to see an ironwood crate. I haven't seen one.
Okay, yeah, that's terrible then. I was thinking like 1 in 8. Shit. No,
Yeah.
if you haven't even seen one, that's not good.
I think I just ironwood crate. Let me look. I think I just hit the level for it. What is it? Oh yeah, it only at 95 sailing. I literally hit 95 sailing during our like this call. So now I can start seeing them. But I hadn't even seen a camphor crate, which is lower. So camphor is 85, and I haven't seen one yet. Have you seen a camphor crate?
No, I haven't. I don't think I've seen any crates. I haven't really done any port tasks though, besides in the early days.
Oh no, you haven't been moving on the water and seeing crates?
Yeah,
that's
sailing.
Crazy.
I'm a better sailor than you though, dudes. I wouldn't be talking 96 over here.
That's true. Well, no, to be honest, because you don't see random events when you're doing Barracuda trials, and you don't see random events when you're doing salvaging.
Yep.
Right, and port task is the least popular of all three out of the three options. So, yeah, I guess people aren't seeing a lot of those. But I'm a big fan. Port tasks are a good method.
That's good. I mean, I would do it if I was like a pet hunter that didn't already have 2 fucking soups. It's cool that I feel like it's very well balanced. But you're right; those crates need to be more common.
Or give it its own reward. That's a case where it's like that to me. Like salvaging has a few cases where you can get some iron nails, right? Or sorry, some dragon nails, some dragon cannonballs. Like it doesn't make sense that port tasks don't give something similar to that, right? I mean, just an alternate way to get like dragon nails or dragon sheets. Right?
Even if port tasks had like a system like Mahogany Homes where you actually have port points, like you've done enough and you're just stacking up points and then you eventually can spend it at a shop. Yeah. That's like, you've done this many deliveries, here you go, like spend your points on all these cool upgrades for your ship, like dragon sheets and stuff. Just buy them.
Yeah, or ironwood crates that you open and then...
Ooh, even better. Right. Yeah, if it still had that RNG element to it, like the kind of reward crate.
Yeah, and they could like retroactively add that, because if you go to your captain's log, it tells you how many tasks you've completed. So they can like give you the points. Now, if the points are cool. If the points are based on tasks completed, then again, that becomes the meta of doing like quick tasks, like pet hunting.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but they could add something like that too. They need something in port tasks, in my opinion, because I think the sea randoms is a cool thing because it's organic, right? It's buffing port tasks simply because it works really well, but they're not often enough. 90% of the time you get the wind one, right? So they would have to, if they decide to buff sea randoms, then port task gets buffed. That's great. If they decide not to, then port task needs some sort of reward. It's less XP per hour than Barracuda trials, so it can justify using a little bit of a reward. But yeah, it's a tough balance because you don't want to get too close to Barracuda trials in terms of value. But I do think it needs something. Yeah,
that would be nice. Okay, is it called deep sea trawling? Is that what the official name of it?
Deep sea trawling, yeah.
So I have not participated in any of this. I've only heard great things about it. So XP wise, terrible. Fishing and sailing, I'm pretty sure, but the amount of fish is like out of control. So go through trawling as if you're talking to people that have never done it, including myself. I think I've seen a little bit of it in action, but I haven't taken like the full deep dive into understanding it fully.
Yeah, so deep sea trawling is a fishing activity you can do on your boat using your fishing nets. And yeah, you get a ton of fish. And it is, in my opinion, the best activity that was added, or the best piece of content that was added with sailing. It is very, very well done for a couple of reasons. The first thing that I absolutely love about it, so there's some criticism with sailing currently, and I think this is because it's a new skill, right? That it can feel a little bit self-contained, right? Like a lot of what you're doing in sailing is to either get 99 or get something to like improve your boat or something like that. Like you're not really doing much outside of sailing. There's like cases where you're making new potions or there's like a new hunter method, but that's not even sailing, right? Those are like different things. Deep sea trawling is like the only like strong case where it's like I am doing something with sailing that is impacting my main account, right? You are getting a lot of fish and a lot of great fish as well. So I want more of this in sailing overall. Like I want sailing to impact like a lot of, like I want there to be sailing methods that impact me when I'm not sailing, right? So deep sea trawling gets my hopes up for future things. I know they were thinking of doing like mineral dredging and stuff like that in the future. It doesn't always have to be hybrid methods, right? Like it could be a better, like we said, there could be some salvaging spots that are more focused on the items and less on the XP, right? But deep sea trawling nails it, and if this didn't exist, I would feel like sailing is like kind of going in the wrong direction in terms of it being too isolated. But that gives me a lot of hope. And then the other thing I love about deep sea trawling, I'm talking about my love for it first, and then I'll explain it a little bit further and like why and how it works. But gathering in old school RuneScape, right? We have the three main gathering skills: wood cutting, mining, and what's the other one? Fishing. The one we're talking
the
about.
one we're talking about, yeah.
90%, if not more, of all those activities involve clicking on something, waiting, and then either moving or clicking on it again. Like that's like most of the loop, right? There's cases of tick manipulation, 100%, right? But that's more of a player thing. But I can't think of anything in mining, fishing, and wood cutting that isn't that basic loop or like a skilling boss, like Temporos, right? Or like, I guess, forestry to some extent. Temporos, Zolcano, right? Like those are skilling bosses. So unless, yeah, I think that's true, right? Can you think of anything that like isn't just like clicking on something and waiting for those three activities that isn't like a skilling boss?
Let me hear what the difference is between fishing, because
Okay.
I'm assuming that you're going to get there, and I'll see if there's anything kind of similar.
Oh,
to
I'm
that.
getting there. Yeah. So what I love is that like, when you think about gathering, that's what it's been largely in old school RuneScape. And deep sea trawling is like not that at all, right? You are not just clicking on a spot and waiting. It is not a mini game. It is not a skilling boss. It is a true organic gathering experience, but it's taken to like the level of 2025, if we can even say that with old school RuneScape. Even this is like MMO standard of like mid 2000s, if anything. But it's actually a form of gathering that is something more than just doing that, which I completely respect. You're moving around. You are like, or you're looking at the shoals to see what depth they're at, and you're changing your depth. You've got some methods you can do to get a little bit more as well, like spam clicking. But I just like that as a gathering method. It is like it's kind of more modern MMO standard of gathering, and I hope that in future gathering methods that we get stuff kind of like this, where it's a little bit more active. It actually feels, yeah, it's like active skilling, I suppose, for gathering. Obviously, we have active skilling through other skills, but this is a great example of it. So if you haven't done deep sea trawling, you set up your nets and you chase these shoals around, and then you got to adjust your net's depth to either shallow, moderate, or deep, right? But only certain shoals can go to certain depths. So when you're doing like the low level shoals, like let's say you're going there and you're getting like the log slot or whatever, the giant krill, like it's always shallow, right? So you just have to follow the shoal and stop when it stops. Super easy. The mid tier ones only go between shallow and moderate, so you're just switching one button up down. And then the high tier ones like the marlin and bluefin, they can go all three depths, right? So you have to change your depths accordingly. But the thing is, on top of that, there's also a set pattern, right? So there's a set pattern with the depths that make it a lot easier to understand and to do the high level shoals. A lot of people think it's like super intense. It's not. So whenever a shoal has like a health bar when it lands in its spot, right? Whenever it reaches halfway on its health bar, it always goes moderate depth, provided it can, right? Like the mid level and the high tier shoals, it's always moderate depth. And it stays moderate depth that for its remainder of its health bar, plus when it's moving to its new location, right? So you're just on moderate depth, chasing it around, and then when it ends up in its new location, it can either go shallow or deep, and then you just follow that loop of, and then let's say it went shallow, then when it reaches middle, it goes to deep, to moderate again, and it's that same loop over and over. And if you're thinking about the mid-tier shoals, this means there's no thinking with them. Like, so if you're catching halibut, which are like Karamwans, it is literally you are staying in the middle, right? When it lands on its spot, you're going shallow. You're staying on shallow until it's at the middle of the health bar. Then you're going moderate. You're staying on moderate until it reaches new location. And it's a solved loop. There's no thinking at all. And then the only thinking is for the bluefin and the marlin, where when it reaches a new location, it can be shallow or deep. So you're either going up or down, but it follows the same pattern again. When it reaches halfway, it goes to moderate. I know that sounds probably confusing.
It actually sounds, I mean, even having never done it, it's making sense to me. How
Okay.
many, well, yeah, I'll have you continue. I have a few questions, but not
Yeah,
not
I
related
have
to
I have
that.
one more thing I'll state about it as well that a lot of people don't notice. You can tell the depth. Like a lot of people have been looking at the chat. Oh, the shoal has moved deeper. You don't have to. The actual shoal itself, it has visual indications of what depth it's at.
Mm,
So when there are two rings pulsating, it's shallow. Plus, you can see fish as well. And when it's one ring pulsating, like a thick one, it's moderate. And when it's one thin ring, it's deep. So
mm,
just by knowing that, you know exactly what depth you need to be at. And the only one, again, you need to ever think at is the high level shoal. So if we're thinking about the high level shoal now, if it's moving and it's moderate depth, it has one big pulsating ring. When it reaches this new location, all you need to look at are there two rings or are there one ring? If it's two rings, it's shallow. If it's one ring, it obviously is deep now.
yeah.
And then you just stay on that until it switches to that thick ring again, halfway through its health bar, which is always predictable, and follow it. So between knowing the pattern, and the visual indicator, deep sea trawling actually becomes pretty like moderate in terms of like activity level. It's not as high intensity as people think. And it's like a very satisfying loop, in my opinion.
And what exactly, like, so how many fish are you catching? Do you always have to do a mix? So there's, because you're saying like it will switch between shallow and deep with always, as soon as it hits half health, it's moderate. Is that how it always will be? So you can't just permanently be fishing at some deep thing, right? Like this is a pattern across the game that you're always going to be following. So you're always going to be gathering a mix of fish. Is that what I'm hearing?
No. So you'll go for, so every spot has a different fish that you can get. So what I was saying with the depths is like only certain fish are capable of going that deep. But like if I'm at a marlin shoal, I'm basically catching marlin. There's one exception I'll explain later. But the marlin can go shallow, moderate, or deep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
It doesn't
thought,
mean that when it's
okay.
shallow, now I'm catching shrimp.
Oh,
Like
I see
what?
it here on the page actually now, because it does say, so that's the vibrant shoal. It can be shallow, moderate, and deep, but you're catching bluefin and marlin. Is that like what I'm seeing here on
Yeah.
the?
So that's the other mechanic.
Mm.
So you have a, so if you go to the shoals above those ones, there's like the ones that are just named the fish, like
Oh, I
marlin
see
shoal.
marlin shoal.
Right.
Okay.
So the vibrant ones, those are, and the shimmering, those are just like a special event that happens
I see.
where basically the fishing spot, you'll start to see fish swimming around them, like large fish. And it's like a boosted fishing spot and it lasts for like a minute. And that's where you can catch more fish and you can catch different types of fish. And specifically, if you're at like a mid-tier shoal, you can even catch marlin, like a little bit here and there. So that's the case where even if I'm at a marlin shoal, right? When that starts happening, not only am I catching more marlin, I'm catching more bluefin. Like I'm catching some bluefin here and there. If I'm at a bluefin shoal, I'm catching,
Mm,
a higher tier fish and stuff like that.
that makes
So
sense.
that's just like an event where I'm trying to think of something similar in old school where it just is like a boosted experience, and it's really good for catching more fish, and it does mean that you can get marlin. I don't know if you still need level 91 to even see a marlin from those shoals or not. But it does mean that you can catch marlin at other shoals in like small quantity or bluefin at small quantity.
Okay.
In
And
terms of the fish that you're catching, like per hour, it varies depending on the shoal, and it varies depending on if you're like spam clicking here and there. But generally, I would say you're catching between like 450 and 600 fish per hour, maybe more, maybe upwards of like 700 for some fish. Um, when doing this method. Now, the higher ones, like halibut, I think, felt higher, which I think makes sense because it's like an equal to Karam one.
mm-hmm.
It feels like if you're doing that and you're like spam clicking, whatever, you probably get close to 700. If you're just kind of chilling, you're probably getting like 500 or so. And if you're doing kind of like this hybrid approach that I kind of do, where you're spam clicking when the shoal is vibrant, like when it's special, then you probably end up with like 600 or so.
And
So
what is happening? Like, where is that fish going in your cargo, or like, is it
yeah.
just
So
so you
it's
do
going
have
in
to
your
bank every
fishing
like
net.
half hour? Oh, your fishing net.
It's
Okay.
going in your fishing net, and your fishing nets can hold 125 each. It's 250 right? But then you empty from your fishing net into your cargo hold, right?
Mm.
So you can have some extra fish in your fishing net, but the thing is, you can't really even disembark while they're there, or they'll get deleted.
Oh
So, or
shit.
teleport. So everything goes into your cargo hold, but you're not banking every half an hour, not even close to every half an hour. This is because they added something that is so good. It's like my favorite thing that they've added. So if you have some adamant nails and camphor logs, or camphor planks, I think logs, you can make a crate. And then by using ice coolers, which you can get at Slayer Masters, like hundreds of thousands of them, you make fishing, like you make these ice cooling crates. And when they're in your cargo hold, what they do is one crate can hold 10 fish, right?
Oh
So
shit.
you're not catching, like, let's say your cargo holds 200.
Yeah.
If you have those crates, which by the way, it's a stackable item, so you can have like 10,000 in your cargo hold, but when they're actually filled up, then they're one, right? You can catch like 2,000 fish before filling up your cargo hold.
Oh, okay.
So you can be out at water for like, and I love this from like a fishing boat perspective. Like if you're thinking about fishing in real life, you could be out for like 4 hours catching fish, and you could be coming back to shore with like 2,000 plus marlin. And
That's
it's just,
so fucking
it's
nice.
so cool. And these crates, like you empty them in your bank and you get the crate back. The only thing you don't get back are ice coolers, which you have literally an infinite amount of. So you just like do the dart thing, and it does like 10 at a time, where you just left click, or you just click 2 items back and forth, the dart tip thing, and you have your crates back. So it's not even something you need to maintain. Once you've created enough crates, right? It could take you maybe like 20, 30 minutes to make like 400 crates or whatever. Then you have enough crates for for the rest of time. Just buy ice coolers and that's it.
That's
Uh,
wild.
I love it so much, because originally I'm thinking, oh my god, it's gonna be so cool because I'm gonna go fishing and I'm gonna fill up my cargo hold to 200. I'm gonna fill up my inventory. I'm gonna bring my fish barrel. I'm going back with 250 fish. That's incredible, right? But then it's like, yeah, you're right. That would only be like a half an hour, which would be a lot of downtime. So they added this crate system where, yeah, you can carry, all of a sudden your cargo hold becomes like 2,000 plus. And it is it was not mentioned anywhere. No blog post, nothing. It might have just been through like testing of like trawling's got too much downtime or something like that, where they decided to add something like this. And it's an incredible item, and not a lot of people necessarily know about it. So make sure that you get that sorted before
That
trying it.
is cool. So, what is the top fishing and sailing XP per hour you can expect if you were to like really take it seriously and focus on the
Okay.
XP?
So there's a method. It's a pseudo tick manipulation, but basically you can spam click your net. And if you're spam clicking your net, you're getting a catch opportunity every 2 ticks instead of like every 4 or something. Or no, you're getting an opportunity every tick instead of every 2. I don't remember exactly if it's like every tick versus every 2 tick, but it speeds up your XP and your fish caught by quite a bit, probably like 50% better. So if you're like chilling and you're catching marlin, fishing XP wise, you're probably getting like 30K an hour, right? Maybe a little less. But if you're spam clicking, I think you're bumping that up to like 45K an hour fishing experience. And then that applies to the number of fish. So if you've caught like chilling, you're catching like 400, right? Something like that, maybe a little less. And then if you're spam clicking, you're catching like close to 500. And it feels like your fishing level is also a very, very key indicator of how much fish you're catching, your success rate. So high fishing level is important. And there's that new potion that gives you +6 boost that could be worth taking. Or you can just take the harpoon and use that every once in a while. But the +6 boost is probably good. So that's what you're looking at in terms of experience rates. You are also getting sailing experience, but was hilarious to me. They nerfed the extractor, and they're like, we're going to distribute all that experience to the training methods.
Touch it.
And they just like did not think about trawling at all. So trawling went from like 30K plus sailing XP to like tanked rates, because basically it's like 8K an hour without the extractor. So everything's tied to the extractor. So they need to technically compensate for the nerf. So we'll see if they do that. And if they nerf Crystal Extractor to what I want it to be, like 50 experience or whatever, then yeah, they got to look into the sailing XP. So combined, you're probably getting like chilling, you're probably getting like 30K, 20K, something like that between the two skills. And then if you're clicking, you're probably getting like 45K, 30K between the two
And
skills. Rough numbers, very rough.
And does an upgraded hull help with any of this? So like would a rosewood is like going faster any benefit at all, or is it just as soon as you get
for Marlin? Marlin are the only shoal that are like actually faster than you at times. And that would be very beneficial to have the rosewood hull, but for the rest of them, you don't really need it. You don't even need it for the Marlin. Now there is a bug currently where when your crewmates are on the helm and you use a wind mote, their boost lasts like 10 ticks. Like it's miserable. But when you're on the boat and you use a speed boost, it's like the full 33 whatever based on your sails. So I've heard they mentioned that that's unintended. And when you're doing this fishing method, you don't want to be on the helm. You want to be on the net.
Yeah.
So I've had to do Marlin with like very bad boosting. I suspect when they fix that, it's going to be easier to keep up with Marlin, and probably even with an Ironwood hull, you'll keep up like 80% of the time. There's times where the Marlin just zooms away. Like you're just not going to get it. You have to maybe get a shortcut to get through to catch up to it, and get to it at a reasonable time. But there's times where it just zooms by. And there's 2 spots for Marlin, and one of them is just objectively better.
Okay,
well.
Where are those spots?
So they're both in the Northern Ocean, like the icy ocean, but the one to the east is a much better route. Like the one to the west near Brittle Isle is horrible.
Okay. Why is that?
The path. Like they have their own designated pathing. So the one to the east has points where there's like 4 or 5 very close together, and it's like no chasing, no nothing. The one to the west just has none of that at all.
Okay.
You're constantly chasing, you constantly have to keep up. So even though there's like 1 or 2 parts in the eastern one where it'll get ahead of you, and there is one part where you're taking Kraken damage, right, where the western one you take no Kraken damage, but it's worth it because the one on the west is just horrible to follow.
Okay.
Compared to the one on the east.
Would you want to see a change to that, or is it okay how it is? Just one being
I think it's fine.
Better?
I think it's fine. I mean, and maybe with a rosewood hull, the one to the west might be okay, and I won't take any damage from Krakens, but I think it's fine. And based on my experience of like some of the other shoals, because you can keep up with all of them, there might be some that are slightly more chill and stuff like that, but the gap is a little bit closer. Marlin is just the only one that requires like, a little bit more like awareness of where you're going and clicking and keeping up with things and stuff like that. And it's also cool. This is another example where you definitely want to chart the rapids around that area if you haven't already, because using the rapids to keep up with the Marlin is definitely helpful.
Interesting. Do you think the amount of fish is appropriate? How many you get? Or because I feel like that's a shit ton. Like
it's a ridiculous amount of fish. Yeah.
And
like I would be okay if it's it's amazing. I'd be okay if they want to. I mean, I don't care. Like the sailing XP at the end of the day doesn't really matter because you're getting sailing XP through
building your ship,
which are incredible.
Else. Yeah.
Right. The fishing XP was a lot lower than I thought. Because it is like, it's got a little bit of intensity to it, right? Versus just clicking on a spot and doing nothing. So I just expected it, even with the amount of fish, to be a little bit higher. If they don't change it, I don't care, because ultimately, when I'm 99 fishing, or if you're 99 fishing, all you care about is the resource. I like having reasons to go to content post 99, right? And this will be content I always engage with. The amount of fish is kind of ridiculous. Like if you do it for, 4 hours and you have 2,000 fish, that's going to last you quite a while, right? If they toned it down a little bit, I'd be fine. If they don't, I'd be fine as well. Like it is what it is. The spam clicking method is kind of like one of those cases where you kind of have to balance around it, unfortunately. If that didn't exist, the spam clicking, you could justify buffing the XP rates and, keeping the fish rate as is. But because you have that method, you can't really buff the XP rates or like the fish rates or anything like that, because there are people out there who are just going to spam click their whole time or most of the time and get more fish. By the way, for spam clicking, if you don't want to do that all the time, just only do it when the shoal is vibrant or whatever.
And And do you catch the same amount of halibut as marlin, or do you actually catch more halibut per hour if you were just to focus on halibut? Because I'm thinking to myself right now, as a practical fish, what I would actually want more, marlin or halibut. And I feel like I'd want halibut more to actually practically use in situations that, like the 2-tick healing 20 sounds much nicer than, I mean, don't get me wrong, marlin sounds great too, 24 heals, but like that being a 3-tick is, I almost feel like I'd rather stack up on the halibut.
I mean, if you're taking both into your inventory, you're getting the same benefit of 2 extra HP, right? Either replacing mantas or replacing. So I think halibut, though, has a higher. It might be because of your fishing level. It might be because they designed it this way. But if it seems like you catch more halibut than marlin, for example, at a 1-to-1 ratio, and the halibut shoal is like super easy. Like it's so easy, and you'll still catch some bluefin there once in a while when it becomes like a shimmering. You'll catch some marlin as well. Also, the bluefin shoal is kind of interesting too. The one that gives you 5 prayer. I'm sure it's not like too crazy, but it's a manta with 5 prayer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and the shoal is easy as well. So that could be another option to go to as well. Probably catch a little bit more than marlin. Marlin probably has the lowest overall quantity, but it's still kind of high. You could still get like 500 plus if you're clicking a lot and stuff. So
that's crazy. And fine fish cutoffs, those are absolutely essential to catching these. How are people getting these in mass?
So they're not absolutely essential. Technically, you still catch fish without them, but you catch more with them. Now, the way they work. So first of all, I'll mention this. People have mentioned, what if I were to do rod fishing? Because you can actually sit with your rod while having 2 crewmates on the nets chase the shoals that way. And you'll catch fish with your rod. So it's not good, right? But one of the reasons why it's not good is you use the fine fish offcuts. If you catch 1 marlin, you use 1 fish. But you use 1 fine offcut. Now, the way that the shoals work, when you have somebody on your station that spreads the offcuts, the chum station, it only spreads them once when the shoal stops and reaches its destination, right? So it uses 1 fine fish offcut. If you catch 5 fish, 10 fish, 3 fish during that time, all the way until it moves to its next location, you've only used 1 offcut. So the ratio ends up being something like 5-to-1, 6-to-1, right? And if you're spam clicking, it's even better, right? So offcuts, you don't use a lot of them, and then you could then take some of the fish, especially like the lower tier fish, if you're doing that. And I think it starts at either halibut or the one below. I forget what's here, but those also give fine fish offcuts. So you can catch like a lot more fish than the amount of offcuts you use. And if you sacrifice some of the lower fish or whatever, any of the fish that you're catching, then you'll get more offcuts. So it becomes kind of like a rolling stone, where eventually you're going to end up with like more offcuts than you're going to need anyways if you just, cut up some of your fish. And cutting up some of your fish is very quick as well if you're doing it on your boat. It's like you cut 4 at a time every tick. So you can do that super quick. If you're the type of person to cut up your sharks, you can do that for fine fish offcuts. But yeah, that's up to you. If you do that, I do recommend going to a dock that's near a bank, like Deep Fin or whatever. There's probably an even better one, and you can go to your boat to cut it. Instead of doing it in your inventory and cutting it, just go to your boat, because you literally do the inventory in like 4 ticks, and you can cut shark really quickly that way.
That just reminded me of how tilting it was to kill great white sharks, get raw shark as the loot, and then not be able to cut it with a knife because I'm under attack on my boat. You can't. Even if you just have 1 shark on like your boat, I remember trying to cut it, and I still was not able to find a break long enough to be able to cut it. It's so stupid.
I wonder if you had a chum station on that boat, if you'd be able to.
I think somebody did say you can use a chum station, but apparently you're getting fewer or something using that.
No, you're getting the same amount.
Is it the same?
Weird.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're getting the same amount. But even if it was a case where it would like interrupt you, it would still be better, because you can like, after killing one and you had like 4 raw sharks, you can cut them all instantly. Right? Even if it delayed you, at least you can do it every 4 sharks instead of every 1.
True.
By the way, there was also this might still exist. I don't even know. It's a bug. I don't even know if I should mention it.
Do it.
Do you know the squid? The squid that you can fish for now, the lantern fishing?
No.
So there's lantern fishing now, which is just like, it gives you squid paste, which is like for potion. It's a source of food, but it also gives you the squid beak, which you need to make the blowpipes, the new blowpipes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there was a bug that I know one of my friends were like, no way, and he tested it and got very lucky. But there's like a 1 in 1,000 chance to get like a squid beak when you cut. But if you do it on your chum station, which makes sense because your boat's right by the freaking thing anyways, when it cuts that one action and it cuts 4, my buddy got 4 squid beaks.
Oh my god. Okay, so whenever you roll that thing, it just gives you all of them.
It gave you all of them, which I hope they got rid of. Yeah, no, it looks like they didn't get rid of it yet.
maybe he just got super lucky. Come on, like maybe he just rolled the back 4 back. You know,
he did roll back 4 back. That's true. That's true.
That's crazy.
I think those were selling for an okay amount of money, but that's a bug. But that's a case too where if you're fishing those, to cut them up, don't cut them up in your inventory. Just cut them up in the boat that you have docked right there.
I see.
It's gonna be much better, much quicker.
Question about ships in general. So with all the knowledge you know now with regards to what we currently have with sailing, this is obviously there's going to be more and more activities coming out in the future, but how many ships do we need optimally to be able to participate in all the activities that we'd want? So Barracuda trials, salvaging, and I'm talking about the most efficient way to do all these activities. Like how many boats do you need?
Yeah. So you need your Barracuda trial boat. Right.
And that's just a skiff, right?
That's just your skiff. It has the crystal extractor near your helm, right?
And that's pretty much it. You don't need to build any other stations. It's just the crystal extractor and then like a fully pimped out max speed, max sails, max everything.
Yeah, I wish I could look at my boat now. There's some other things too. I'm trying to think.
But there's no other facilities you need to build, right? Other than the crystal.
You need the wind catcher.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And then you're going to have a cargo hold no matter what. What else? Because I ran out of space on mine.
Maybe
there's no need for a hook.
Thing.
Yeah, stuff like that. Sure. That's there's no need for hook or net, so that spot's useless. And then what was on the side?
Oh, a keg maybe?
Yeah, so that's the thing. I had trouble fitting the keg on the skiff.
Really?
Right?
Okay, so...
Yeah.
Because...
because I put a teleport focus on it. That's why.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I put a teleport focus.
So ultimately, a teleport focus is not actually essential if you were just to be grinding.
Here's the thing. If you're only doing Barracuda trials, yes, probably. But the Barracuda trial boat is a wonderful candidate for the port task boat as a skiff, surprisingly. Now, you could do port task with the sloop. But at the Rosewood tier, I prefer, even at the Ironwood tier, which is technically slower, I prefer the skiff because it can fit into tighter areas. The distance between the helm and the cargo hold is shorter. There's like some benefits I enjoy with the skiff. And with that, you want the teleport focus because you want to be able to teleport to Alderaan, like bring your boat to Alderaan instantly and stuff like that. So
is
in
the
terms
keg
of like
worth it? Like, can it even fit if you're going to include that?
It can't fit at that point.
Oh, it just cannot fit.
When you have everything, you can't fit everything. So
noted.
So negative there. But if you had a Barracuda boat specifically, then I suppose you can put a keg on that. But then you have 2 skiffs all of a sudden. So it's like, I don't know. But if you end up using a sloop for your port task, then at that point, yeah, probably the Barracuda boat, you probably fit your keg on there.
It feels like using a sloop will be the move, even taking into consideration the cargo hold. But, I mean, isn't oftentimes... at least what I've seen, you're not even navigating your ship while doing port task, or maybe it was like the short distance one. It seemed like the streams I was watching, the player is just holding their cargo. They're not even dumping it. They're just holding it while the navigator is navigating the ship.
So the problem is, and that will be true, but the problem right now is that the navigator can't use the boost properly.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing cargo tasks, I'm on the helm. Now, when they fix that, then you're just holding the cargo. So a sloop probably becomes a little bit more viable there. There are going to be cases, though, where like some rapids are going to be harder to get through or maybe even impossible. There's one part in Etc. where there's 2 rapids that you literally cannot do on a sloop because you'll get stuck.
Okay.
So I still think there's debate as to which one's better. The benefit of the sloop, though, assuming they're both Rosewood, is you can have 2 kegs on it. You can put a XP keg and you can put Ocean Randoms keg. So that's the benefit of doing that. But I don't know if it outweighs some of the cons currently. The other benefit of the sloop is that Ironwood tier technically has a higher speed cap. But that's also, debatable because you need rapids for that. So I would say you need a Barracuda boat, and then you need a Portas boat that's either a sloop or a skiff from your Barracuda because they're pretty one-to-one. You obviously want your salvaging boat, which probably needs the least amount of like upgrading on it, right? Like you don't need a crazy keel or a crazy hull on that boat, right?
Can a salvaging boat be a trawling boat perfectly?
No,
Or
because
can it just
it's
not?
the same
'Cause you-
spot. Yeah,
Okay.
it's the same spot, and usually your salvaging boat is also your combat boat.
That's
We're
what I was
seeing a
thinking.
lot
I
of
was like,
people doing
is that what it needs to be basically? Like, am I
Yeah.
okay building 2 dragon hooks and 2 dragon cannons on the same sloop, or is that a mistake?
No, I think you're more or less okay. There's an argument to be made that you could technically put it on your fishing boat, but the fishing boat, even though like there's something called a fathom stone that helps you locate the shoal, like it's not absolutely needed, but it still actually makes finding the shoal a little bit quicker, but it saves you only a little bit of time at the beginning of your trip. So the reason as to why you might put it on your trawling boat would be, well, the trawling boat benefits much more from a rosewood hull, right? Because you want
Yep.
the extra speed for marlin. So it's going to be upgraded in that sense. So you might put cannons on it, but I think there's enough facilities. You want the trawling fishing keg, you want the whatever keg on there. I still think salvaging's better, and the whole fantasy of having a fishing boat, for me, this is like has nothing to do with the game and optimizing. I can't put cannons on my fishing boat, man.
Yeah.
It just doesn't fit my worldview. But I would say, generally speaking, though, like, yeah, you don't need separate boats for salvaging and combat because you should be able to fit both the keg and the combat keg, right? You might have to potentially change your kegs depending on your activity. You could just like refill them, right?
Yeah. Okay, so
I think you're good.
So hear me out. If I were to decide, because right now my activities are just salvaging and combat, and that's working just great, but I will want to get into trawling. So what I should do is have my salvaging combat boat be one thing, keep it with the ironwood at the moment because I don't have all the nails for a hull, but then only build the rosewood hull or prioritize building the rosewood hull for the trawling and keep the salvaging and combat as the slightly slower speed because it really doesn't matter. I'm basically stationary all the time anyway. So prioritize building that hull and then pimp out the boat for trawling specifically because that's
I think that's the right way to go. Yeah, I think the only difference might be if this is still months away for you to get to that point, and then all of a sudden Jagex like, we're adding a boss at the water, and you're like, well, okay, maybe I'll sacrifice the trawling boat and not upgrade it to rosewood, and I'll do the combat boat first, right?
Yeah,
that would be like the old, for anybody who's seeing this a little bit later, and that's like a reality, then having the extra health on your boat, stuff like that might be more important at that point. I'm not sure exactly how many more fish you're catching with marlin per hour with rosewood versus thing, but naturally right now I would say, yeah, that would be the path. I'd do trawling boat upgrade first. I'd probably still do. So what I like about using a skiff for the cargo for Portas and Barracuda trials is that it's obviously cheaper to upgrade to rosewood, and you're filling the same kind of niche. So it's like it's one rosewood hull upgrade that costs half the price in nails. So it's like, and it solves 2 activities at that point. So I might do my skiff even before I do my trawling boat because I'm not dying to get like thousands of food.
Wait. So yeah. Did you say you would trawl on a skiff or something about?
No.
Are you even able to do that? Or
no, it'd be one net. It'd
be
be horrible. Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be only one net. I would do sloop,
I
and you'd be
see.
missing other facilities. Sorry, I was saying that I might consider upgrading my skiff that I use for Barracuda trials and for cargo port tasks. I might do that before the trawling boat because it's much cheaper and
it's really not that big of a difference. Just going slightly faster just for those occasional situations where you're trying to keep up with the shoal.
Yeah, and generally I like to have teleport focuses on all my boats. Because teleport focus is very convenient. It's very quick. And there's the upgraded teleport focus, right? Which
that's the
obviously
one with the bottled storm?
Bottled storm. And that allows you to teleport to your boat, which obviously can have some cool use cases. By the way, with Marlin, if you're ever doing Marlin in the future, just a little tip. You can teleport to Weiss or you can teleport to the fairy ring on Grimstone Island, like either one. And if you have a teleport focus on your trolling boat, you just pull it out there and you're right in front of the shoal. So it takes like no time to get to the Marlin.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So that's why I like the teleport focus. But in the future, obviously, ideally, all your boats have the upgraded teleport focus. But technically, only one boat needs it. Because you can, let's say, teleport to Grimstone. Wait, hold on. Teleport to your boat. Grimstone's not a good example, but let's say your boat's on a random island, like that's far away, like the one that gives you ironwood, right?
Yep.
You can teleport to your boat, and you want to get to merchant salvaging with your salvaging boat. So you can teleport to your boat that's on that island, and then just use the basic teleporter to pull out your salvage boat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like a 2-step process. I think it would be 2-step process either way, even if you had the upgraded thing. So basically, Kraken, technically you could put it on all your boats, but if you have it on one of your boats, you can still pull any boat that you need to any place, provided you bring that, boat with the upgrade wherever it needs to be. I don't know. It's a little complicated. Obviously, in the future, there might be some metas where maybe it makes sense to just park a boat somewhere. I was thinking that what if you just had a freaking raft somewhere that just had one, it doesn't even make sense, but just had the greater teleport focus, just as like a permanent.
That's what I'm actually considering. I mean, I was about to say drive. I drove over here now. I sailed over to the Ironwood Tree little island. What is this place called? I need to figure this out. Sunbleak Island.
Yeah.
On my fucking raft because I pimped it out with rosewood. So like, why the hell not? And if that can just include the greater teleport focus, I'm pretty sure you just build one facility and you can just replace the cargo hold with it.
You just camp it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just camp it wherever
I was thinking about that. Yeah. Now I don't see the reason why you wouldn't just have a sloop or a skiff with that one thing, right?
Yeah. True.
So
I think maybe if you're using that more though, because the raft you're never actually using with activities. You're just trying to get to somewhere quick, and
and that's one boat I'm debating, like having as my 5th boat, like having a raft for like tight corners and tight areas, and the fact that it's rosewood and can be very fast. Now, even though it's rosewood and fast, you don't have stuff like the crystal extractor and the wind motes. You can't like time your boost and get the extra one. So I don't know how much value there is there long term. I think long term you probably still get like a 5th boat maybe as a skiff.
You're right.
But who knows with Jagex, like, we have a couple areas in charting where you need a raft, right? So yeah.
Here's another question I have for you. Thoughts on being able to sort of flat back a facility. So being able to build a facility, build a dragon cannon, and then be able to just remove it, but it goes into your inventory as sort of like in construction, we have these like noted chairs and stuff that nobody fucking uses ever, but like you can just build a facility that can now go in your inventory and you can just replace it, put it on a different boat, for example. Why don't we have, I mean, I understand maybe it was a little bit complicated for the engine to figure out how to like move facilities freely, just like we can with the POH being able to move houses around or little not houses, but just like rooms around. And I think we need to be able to have that on the ship. But if it's not just being able to move things, we should be able to at least take off a facility. It goes into our inventory, and then we can go to a different boat and then just plant that wherever we want. What are your thoughts?
Oh, interesting. Like, I definitely think there should be some form of moving or something that exists.
Yeah.
Because right now it's like pretty punishing. Like, even you're like, do I put my dragon cannons here or not? And to some extent, we could both be wrong. Like there could be content in the future where it's like, damn, I wish I put my dragon cannons here. And now you're kind of screwed. I think what you're describing might be a little too liberal, like in terms of being able to just pop it onto a boat, like, and just move it around. Like, I think having some sort of cost associated with it in some way would probably be better, but I'm not sure what that cost is. I think on any given boat, you should be able to move facilities, though. Like on the boat itself, you should be able to. Crossboat, I don't know. Well, I think
I just feel like I'll just say one argument for being able to cross it over. Like, it would suck to have built all these things on one boat, and then you're moving it, but like, are you able to move things but also delete things and hold it later? Like, because the reason the flatback idea makes just so much more sense is the fact that it will be an inconvenience anyway, because it'll just take time to like remove things and then go to your next boat and do that. So there already is that sort of like pain point, which is very little, but there is that. But the problem is if you just keep it to one boat, what happens when you're not using it at all? Does it just get deleted? Does it get saved into the cloud, like, so you can use it later? Like, I just don't understand where it could go if it wasn't just a flat back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
explain to me why it would be too liberal. Is it just the fact that you would only ever need to just grind out 2 cannons and only ever need to grind out 2 hooks and then you're good forever? Like, is there any value on having to grind out more? I just find it like the prices, the amount of hours you need to take as an Ironman, for example, to get these facilities already makes it totally, in my opinion, totally reasonable to be able to move it anywhere you want, take it off, keep it in your inventory for a little bit, switch it to another boat. I just think that makes so much more sense.
Yeah. I think on that point it's like, I think that's sort of fair. I'm trying to think of like other than like, because you won't need more than 2 hooks anyways, right? You won't need more than 2 trawling nets. Like, those are set. This would only apply to certain stations, like the cannons, like the gale catcher, stuff like that. And I'm trying to think of if there's a case where it's like really broken. Maybe it's not that bad.
I feel like as long as it's just
man.
facilities, I think it makes perfect sense.
And it needs to be untradeable the whole time.
Yeah, sure.
Because I was thinking that, like, originally, like, I was like, if I remove something, like, I would get the item, like the unique item back from it, but it'd be like an untradeable state. Like, it would become like an untradeable version. That way I could move my stuff around.
Yeah, they could just be untradeable flatbacks, ultimately.
I think they need to be, untradeable, just to prevent people from, like, build, remove, sell. I don't know.
I don't even think it's that crazy of a thing for them to be tradable anyway, because right now, I mean, you need the level requirements regardless to, like, utilize the stations and to build. Like, I feel like the building / the using is basically the same. So I don't understand what exactly would be the problem with them even being tradable.
Yeah, because it's a cost at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, I just feel like there's no real. I mean, I could get behind either. I just don't see what the issue would be with them being tradable. Again, I'm not even a main account, so I don't really care either way. But
no, yeah, maybe that could work. Maybe something like that could work. Yeah, tradable or not, I'm not sure. But
I mean, some would probably have to be untradeable because it came from an untradeable item. So, like the crystal extractor, you obviously couldn't just flat back a crystal extractor and be like, all right, anybody can buy it. You got to do the thing. Yeah, actually, I do think for simplicity's sake, keeping them untradeable flatbacks would actually just be the move.
Yeah, maybe something like that could work. Yeah, other than the fact that it's really just the cannons and maybe like teleport focus, like you could move around, but I don't know if that's providing, like, once you have the items, you've grinded them out, like,
yeah,
maybe it's balanced enough.
Because like the teleport focus, to be able to move that, like the greater one, like, don't get me wrong, like, yeah, that's a really powerful thing, and to be able to move it freely is,
I don't think it's that big of a deal.
But it's really not that big of a deal, because it's, you already have the pain point of just having to go to the ship, right, or the shipyard or whatever, go there, pick it off, like, go back, go to your next boat, put it back on.
I
like,
see. Okay, I think I could get on board with some sort of version of that in some way. Yeah, I think what I'm thinking about is anybody who, like, built their dragon cannons and, like, have to later regret that they did that, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, for those people, some system like this, whether it's like flat pack or an interface or, getting something back to be able to move it to a different boat or a different location on the boat, whatever, like, I think makes sense.
Yep.
And there isn't anything too crazy broken I could think of, other than the fact of, like, if for whatever reason we needed multiple versions of, like, a combat boat that you could kind of, switch, move your cannons around and have it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if for whatever reason we have some content in the future where it's like a skiff, like, is better with a cannon, right? Because it's like a tight area or something like that, then it's like, oh, well, let me pull my dragon cannon off my sloop instead of grinding another one. But even then, I don't know.
I think it would still be fine, because again, it would just, like, for convenience sake, it would be, I would feel like, as a player, like, I'm just gonna go grind out another dragon cannon, so I never have to deal with this pain point of.
You probably would, yeah. Some players would definitely grind it out. Can you flat pack my hull as well, so I can get my rosewood hull on all my boats?
So that couldn't be flat backed, yeah. So like the actual,
it's
just facilities.
Can you imagine?
That'd be
Just
crazy. That
that'd
would
be
make no
amazing.
sense at all. It would be like
Yeah.
what's that whole philosophical take of like the someone's boat? What's that? What's the crap? What's that? Shit. I'm gonna keep. It's the story where like if you take off a piece of a boat, at what point is it not the same boat? You know what I mean? Like
Okay. Yeah.
if you were to keep replacing the parts, there's
Yeah.
someone's ship. The okay, I'm gonna figure it out. Something ship.
Oh, ship of Thesis paradox.
Ship of Thesis, there it is. I'm like, it's something thesis. There we go.
If you replace
Ship
all
of
its
Thesis.
parts, is it the same ship? Is basically
Yeah.
like
That's
the identity
exactly.
ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I see.
Makes sense. Have you
Yeah. No. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna ask, have you renamed your ship yet?
No. It's a
Me
guy on
neither.
an island who does that, right?
Yeah, what are your names on your of your boats? Are there any goofy ones?
Uh. Okay. So the salvaging one was named Mithril Wave,
Hmm.
which is whatever.
That's solid. That's solid.
It's pretty good. My skiff is a horrible name. It's like 2 long words I don't even know. And then my trawling ship is Swift Beast, which I think is kind of cool.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
My raft is Laughing Beard, and then I got Night Hind, and then I got
Okay.
Vibrant Whip.
Vibrant Whip.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Well, you have to make a trawling boat. We have to see what name you get.
Yeah. No, I do love the sort of randomization. I love that you can eventually kind of customize it. Is it still just matching names up with names, or is it a full customization?
I have no
I
idea.
need to
if
go
it's-
there and try
I
it.
almost was like, man, what if we tried like make a little RNG, try to get the best name ever? But if you can just
Yeah,
rename
just keep
them,
re-rolling it or something. Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting. Oh, so I interrupted. We both had a thought. What was yours, if you remember?
No, nothing. No,
Okay.
that was it. Just putting a button on the flat packs.
Okay, so now let me ask, sort of kind of wrapping things up. So we have obviously a bunch of different methods with sailing. We both find the skill very well produced for obviously what it is. I mean, obviously we're going to see more and more islands coming out. There's actually, that's another point I want to talk about, the whole island player designed island thing. And but I also want to talk about what do you want to see from the future going forward? What do you think Jagex should prioritize in regards to like new updates, not just fixes and stuff, but I mean like new content upgrades? What do you think should be the first stuff coming out? And then we'll talk about
okay, so not talking about fixes for things like
not talking about fixes, just
yeah.
assuming everything does get fixed the way we want. What content going forward with sailing would you want to see prioritized first?
Yeah, prioritize. I want I want the boss out at sea, right? Because I want to be able to feel like I'm using, my dragon cannons and I'm having the most DPS.
What does this look like? Is this an instanced boss? Because this is the question I'm wondering. If you see a boss and it's a true boss that's just out somewhere, is it just like world hopping simulator where you keep having to find an empty one, or is it like an instanced area you go in that's a 1v1 against the boss, or is it a mass thing where you're seeing a bunch of shadows of boats that are all firing like a fucking gem crab? Like, what do you imagine it being?
I tried not to imagine because Jagex said what it was going to be, which was a small scale boss at sea. So that to me sounds like a boss. I don't know if it's instance or not, but it sounds like a boss you do with people. Like it would be like 10 people. Probably is instance then in some way. So you'd go in with X amount of people and you'd it wouldn't be a solo boss and you'd take them out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes enough sense to me. No, I mean,
but I have no idea what it looks like. Like what I do think it should have is, I think one of the better parts of sailing is the boat movement, right? Just the nuance, the different timing your speed boost, turning your boat, like you said, like unsetting your sail and turning quickly, stuff like that. So this small scale boss, I'd imagine that like we said, the combat system's kind of bare, but if movement becomes a large part of this boss, like you're dodging waves, you're dodging lightning while trying to optimally position your cannons, then that to me, for a first boss, sounds like it has enough going on and enough and it kind of makes me a little bit more optimistic about the combat that we're getting out at sea. with our boats. So I would hope for that. So these could be like, the classic wave attacks you get from Zabak, for example, right? Being able to like pass through that effectively, being able to, we have like the lightning clouds that we get from Temper Tantrum over there, but like maybe a little bit more fleshed out version of that as a mechanic. Maybe it's like, I don't know if it's like a tentacle boss, like I don't know if it's a Kraken boss or something like that. I don't know the exact type of boss, but I'd imagine something like that, and you'd be able to do it with your friends on separate boats, not on the same boat.
Yeah.
I don't expect it to be on the same boat.
So
that would be a big priority for me, definitely.
What if there was like a gem crab-esque? I'm saying gem crab only because it's just like hella mass and it has a shit ton of HP, but just some sort of monster out on sea where you can kind of get basic supplies, dragon nails, dragon sheets, dragon whatever, but this monster is just a big, 8x8 or something massive sea octopus thing that's just slapping these like shockwaves. So everybody that's fighting it is getting attacked back.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a group encounter where you're all just kind of like chilling. Everyone's trying to aim their boat properly, so both cannons are firing at it. Like, do you think there's some value to adding a sea creature like that, where multiple people are attacking it at once, and it just feels like a group activity?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I think the first boss will be that, like largely. I don't know if it'll be like, it's funny because I don't imagine instance is so like I kind of if it does end up being like 100 people, sure. Like, I guess it just needs to like not be super cluttered, and we'll have to see what they do.
Yeah, because there'll be if they don't incentivize, well, if they make it exactly kind of like gem crab, it'll be fine. You can kind of go on any world and kill it if it just like keeps balancing depending on the player. But if it does have a certain amount of HP, there will be some sort of world that's just mass. You've got like 300 ships surrounding. There's just a bunch of clouds, bunch of like shadows. I mean, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I also wonder, in regards to like raids and stuff. Can you even imagine a raid at this current state with, or like the current combat state of ships and stuff? Like, do you think a raid could ever even be a thing on a boat?
No. So I think Raids 4 will come probably next year.
Yeah.
And I expect it to be like a boss rush raid. Like they've said that, right? Like it's going to be more like TOB.
Yep.
That being said, whether it's Raids 4 or potentially Raids 5, I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to one small element of the raid involving using your boat. So like we're talking, this is a 20-25 minute raid, like 20 plus minutes of it is like your standard raid, but there's like one part where you're using your boat for something, like you're like crossing a river or something, and like that's it, just to give it a little touch of like, hey, here's this new skill, right? But largely I think the raid is just going to be more or less boss rush. So it could be like the very beginning of the raid, for example, like maybe the first minute of the raid is you like sailing to the thing or something. Yeah, maybe you're on a raft, maybe you're on your own boat, right? And it's like maybe it's your raft or skiff or whatever, and it's like you have to like, you know, get through this like channel, and then you land on this like island, or this like, you know, that you pass through the channel and you land in a cave now, right? And now you're doing kind of your traditional raid, right? Like I wouldn't be opposed to something like that, like just a little element of sailing, even if it's like more, you know, even if the mechanics aren't like super difficult and it's more just like just a quick like minute sailing, a little bit of world building, a little bit of dodging. Maybe there's like some cool mechanic you could do and that's it. And then traditional raid after that. I would not ever think about even doing like a fight during like a raid fight.
Yeah.
That would be on water or something like that. I don't think it's at that point.
What are your thoughts on the player designed island? Have you considered joining in the competition at all? And have you seen any islands like on Reddit that have spoken to you?
I haven't seen too many. I've seen no, I really haven't seen many at all. I think I saw a couple joke ones.
Like Penn Island. Hopefully that one passes.
I didn't see that one. What is that?
It's just like a shape of it looks like to be like a penis, but it's just it must just be coincidence. Yeah, just no. Did you not see that one? That I need to find. No. Need to find it because it actually just looks so fucking goofy. It's a complete joke, obviously. Penn Island, like penis land.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's funny.
Let me see But yeah, that one was. I'll try to find it. But yeah, in general, are there certain things that you do want to see from an island, or is it just kind of like
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
happens?
So yeah, in terms of like island and things. Okay, so yeah, that's actually a good. Okay, so we're talking about kind of what things we should see in sailing, and I mentioned like small scale boss, right, as like a big one. Island content is like a big one for me as well, whether it's player designed or Jagex designed. What came out with launch, like the islands we got on launch, were probably more of a letdown than I was expecting. A lot of islands don't really have a purpose at all. And I guess it's okay to have a few islands, but like there are like 10 islands that you go to and there's like one thing you do and then you like never go back. Yeah, I see that island. That looks good. Penn Island.
It's so bad because it was just a quote tweet from the player design thing. It got 4,000 likes.
Dude, I mean, it looks like there's more content on that island than a lot of the ones we have.
What's the symbol on the left testicle? Is that an Ironman symbol? Like,
I thought that was an Ironman symbol, but yeah, that wouldn't make
God
sense.
damn it. God damn it. Yeah. Anyway, it's too. Oh God. Yeah, I don't want to.
There's no doc.
I'm just if you're an audio only listener to these, you're in luck right now. Visual people, I'm sorry you had to see that. Anyway.
Yeah, but definitely, I think I'm not super happy with the islands we got. There's like a couple islands with a couple training methods. Like you have Ironwoods, you have the Crown Jewel for the crabs. But there's like a lot of islands that you go to once, and a lot of them are kind of hinged on either having like a thievable chest or like the whole digging for the key, opening up a schematic, right? And that whole system, firstly, like the schematic system to me is, I guess like the treasure hunt aspect of it is cool, but you get these schematics and you're like, oh man, I could build a dragon cannon on my boat. Yay, that took me like 2 minutes to go get. Now let me go spend like 50 hours actually getting the item. So all these schematics are things where it's like takes you like a minute to get, and then it's an end game upgrade that takes like 50 hours plus to get.
Yep.
So it's like, what's the point of them at that point? It's a log slot. It's a treasure hunt. Mains have to go out of their way to go pick it up really quick before actually building something. Like that's so you have some of these islands that are just that, right? You have islands that are even less. Like the Isle of Bones has like a couple bones on it. You get a key from that island. That's all you get from that island. The Laguna Aurora, which I kind of talked about in my video a lot, even though it technically has stuff on it, when I looked at it, I'm like, ooh, this is a big island. There's a lot of icons. There's a spirit tree, right? This could be cool. And all it is like there's Karask there, and there's like the new type of fish, I suppose. But it's such a big space for just that.
Yeah.
The Shimmering Atoll has nothing on it. The Minotaur Island, like Minotaur's Rest dungeon. Here be Minotaurs. All right, you can't even attack the Minotaurs. Nothing, right? So I was disappointed with a lot of the islands, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I wanted content, like even like the Chinchompa Island, low hanging fruit. Fine, you added an island with red chins. That's okay, I suppose. And I know in the future they'll add more, and I know quests will make you go to places. I think both the Brittle Isle, which is to the north, and the Serpents, the Isle of Serpents to the south. I think those are probably going to be, I don't know, I'm just guessing that's going to be for a Fremennik quest. I could be wrong. Definitely the top one, Brittle Isle, but I was thinking maybe it would have us go down south to the Isle of Serpents because basilisks and snakes and all that. Like some will be fleshed out a little bit further, but generally speaking, like there's not a lot to do on any island. Even the Great Conch, which will be fleshed out further with quests, like there's a new tree. There is like the Coral Nursery, and I think there's like the Griffins, and it's like such a big island, and it's weird. I just expected more out of island content, so. Hopefully in the future with the player designs or whatever, we get islands that aren't just there just to be there for like a chest or a key or just to exist, and we actually get some meaningful content on them. The only one that's like somewhat meaningful, I guess, a couple of the Slayer ones, obviously, but like Grimstone Island, the highest tier one, right? Okay, you got the Frost Dragons and you got the Furnace that doesn't really work. And it's like that was the only one to really go for. right?
Yep.
Because the rest of the islands were.
They need to build a hotspot for that bank. That is like the one takeaway. Like, fucking fix that,
Yeah.
please. Crazy.
Yeah, and then on the topic of like islands and small scale boss and just what to see at a sailing on a higher level, I want something. I'm about to sneeze, but I'm holding it. But I want something like, and I knew this heading into release. There was nothing end game for me to go for. Like the only end game thing was, 87. I can, and this is like pre-release. I understood this. 87. I can make cannonballs quicker. Great. So that's like my end game thing to go for, and it's broken right now. It doesn't really even work. So like right now, I guess there's an end game in a sense where you can upgrade your boat, but you're just doing it to upgrade your boat. You're not actually using much of it in a lot of cases. And I was hoping on release we would get just one touch of end game, like nothing. This is personal thing, just one thing to shoot for other than just going for 99 that we could do. And this could have been like an island with a small boss on it, or it could have been something out at sea, or just something. So I'm hoping we get something like that soon, because we don't have it on release, and I'm gonna hit 99, and when that does release, I'm gonna have the requirements for it probably. So kind of missed the boat on that one. But I would have liked to see one piece of endgame content, in my opinion, for release, and hopefully that's coming up soon. And maybe that boss fits that niche, maybe it doesn't. I think that boss, like, I would kind of feel a little bit sad if it's like super like mid game. Like the Griffin boss is like so like has like no mechanics to it, and stuff like that. And it's like if we get a boss like that out at sea and the drop is kind of like not super relevant, the drops, then I don't know when the next time we'll get something is. So very important that they get that right.
Yeah. So also pretty unrelated to both of us. We're not PKers, but do you see there being ship PvP in the future?
Yeah, I do, but I don't know what the incentive is to do it.
So hear me out. Hear me out. This is something they could add the incentive of, because we're looking out here on the Untamed Ocean. This could be the PvP area. One of the issues already, I can't ignore how awkward this would be, but imagine ships firing at you, but you can't see them because they're all underneath each other, kind of like death dotted, and it's just like you just die instantaneously because rot logs underneath you with all their ships. Like I don't get how exactly you can do it without it being instanced in some form, or just have it. Every single thing has to be single way combat. And then whoever you're fighting will prioritize seeing their boat. I think that's probably the only way you could go about it, is just 1v1 fighting on a boat where it's just shoot each other down. And then if you're under combat, maybe like, I don't know, like repair kits don't work. I honestly truly have no idea how they would balance it. But if they wanted to have encouragement to go out there, what you could have is just out in those deadly waters, you have this insanely amazing salvaging spot that is really good loot, and whenever you die on a ship to some player, all you ever lose is just your cargo. And so when you like sink a ship, you're going to get like a menu saying, oh, here's their cargo, and then if your cargo was full, for example, you could like replace some of that cargo and put the other stuff in, and then whatever you discard just gets deleted. But their ship ends up just respawning and whatever else. But there's just like certain monsters out there and certain salvaging spots that are just really good, and you can just attack people. I just don't understand how that ends up. Like, you engage with somebody, you start shooting them, and then what? Like, just keep healing over and over until you leave. Like, I don't get how the actual mechanics will play out. But if you wanted incentive, it's just bring out hotspots out there that are more OP.
Yeah, there could definitely, the incentive will be the easier part. Definitely, the combat itself is a difficult part, and with the way repair kits work, and you know, there's no like tele blocking or teleporting away either. So it's like just chasing someone for 10 minutes. Like, what happens?
Makes no sense.
Maybe the better path with PvP would be to like make a mini game first, like where it's very standard, right? Like we all have the same kind of things with us, whatever. The mini game might have something you can unlock, right? And then just to like feel that combat out a little bit, and build it out in a very structured situation before expanding it to like a wilderness-esque experience. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's like no PvP, even like, proposals in 2026. Like,
oh yeah, easily. I could see
yeah,
none of that happening.
they do want to expand on the ocean though, like next year. Like, and I don't know if that means the rest of the ocean, which I'm excited for, even though like I have no idea what they're gonna add. I hope that they change the color of some of the oceans and stuff, and the effects for the ones that we can't access too. They're kind of obnoxious, but yeah, maybe when they decide to expand certain areas, then if it's north of the wilderness, then I'm sure there'll be that discussion. But I still can't see anything being done next year for combat. I just I don't know, man. It's like, what are you risking if you're the PKer, right? So here's a salvaging spot, and you're just gonna go and risk. I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough. It has to be fun too, and it's coming. And it's funny. It might not even be PvPers even doing it because it's so different than classic PvP.
It'd be dog shit. I mean, at this stage, I don't even know. It would just be a sort of like get just barely the upper hand over an opponent and then just keep firing and just like an RNG fest. It would honestly be like going to the duel arena back in 2017 and just whipping each other. Like whoever gets that, like that first PID hit basically has the advantage. Yeah, go for it.
Sorry, no, go ahead, finish your thought.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, it really will just be like a watching game. Like you're just watching your hits on your cannon. Like if you hit multiple zeros, you're like, well, I'm fucked over. It would purely be like a roll of the dice every fight. It just, who knows? Maybe people would actually enjoy ship combat where it really is like you're engaged, you're locked in, you can't leave until one of the boats dies, and you're just gonna keep firing and just watch the numbers. And there's no repairing when you're under attack or something.
Yeah,
which sounds so stupid, but it's anyway.
Well, it sounds like RS Classic almost. It's just locked into the fight.
It does.
Yeah. I was thinking, what if there was some sort of mini game-esque thing that is kind of like Castle Wars like, where it's like you have two teams and you have to like go to the other team's island, right? To like, and so there's like a mix of on the boat and off the boat. And you have to like do whatever on the island and then like bring it back, and then they'd have to add stuff on the water to like stop boats or do something. I don't know, but like something like that as like an activity could be fun and could be a little bit more structured so we can understand what the hell ship combat means.
Okay, that sounds cool. It sounds actually cooler the way you're describing it. At least the way I'm kind of perceiving it is, it doesn't even matter the combat on the boat. What would be cool is some sort of PvP mini game that requires some elements of sailing to get to a certain part of the island, like capture the flag or something. And then it's simply normal hand-to-hand combat, magic, range, and melee. But then there's also like the getting to a different part of the island to like deliver the flag, for example, would be on a boat. But like that kind of vibe. Is that what you're kind of getting at? Because that kind of vibe, sounds kind of exciting.
Like it definitely would have both, I would think. It's still something out on water. Maybe we're on rafts with cannons and that's it.
Yeah.
Right? We're just firing at each other, and you got limited repair kits, right? Because you can only carry your inventory because you got no cargo hold or something like that, right? Or it could be the larger boats doing that too, and you can go with your teammates to operate the cannons and stuff. But yeah, it would kind of be the mix. So sailing would be like an element of it, so we can get a touch of it and how we can maybe balance it, and then the rest of it could be Castle Words like. Now there has to be incentive to do that as well, like either log slots or some sort of item, like because Soul Wars is basically that too, right? So but it could be fun. Something like that could be fun and worth exploring as a way to see what combat could be without kind of having to think about the entire overworld and how that might look. So that'd be cool. I'd be down for them to explore that a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess last question before we wrap things up. What do you give sailing, a scale of 1 to 10? What did you think sailing was going to get before launch, and what does sailing actually get, 1 through 10?
Yeah, before launch, I thought sailing was going to be probably like an 8 out of 10. And on launch, it's probably close to that, maybe like a 7.5 out of 10. It's hard because like I think the whole release experience was like so hyped, It was so fun to get out in the water, and it's like as
Mm-hmm.
you get closer to the end game, it's like that's when my score starts to lower a little bit because it's
Mm.
like, I'm salvaging, I'm stuck here, I'm having to do some slow combat. But up until this point, it's been like, like I would say the first 80 levels ish, even 80, even just getting to merchant shipwrecks like 87, like pretty good, like 9 out of 10, right? It's just the last little bit that brings the score down a little bit. But I'd say
Yeah.
overall, I think they did a great job. I think it was no small feat. Um, I think there's some technical things they achieved that's like incredible. Like the fact that you can like ride your boat and like drop items and they're like just like chilling on your boat and stuff like that. It's just wild to me. Um, and yeah, I think it was pretty much where I thought it was going to be in terms of score, but for different reasons
Mm.
overall. But yeah, I think it's great. I don't think we need a new skill for a very long time. But I will say that like I've never with any content release have spent a month talking about it and a month
Yeah.
doing it, whether
Yeah.
it's a raid or whatever. I wouldn't have when TOA came out. I didn't spend a month talking about TOA and all that, and right, like
Yeah.
a month plus. Like sailing has so much and so much discussion, so many things to do, and it's I think the largest thing they've ever released as a whole.
100%. It's
Yeah,
a whole ass world that they've just built, and it makes sense why a lot of the islands feel empty and whatever else. There's just so much stuff they had to focus on,
yeah.
and
Imagine people coming like 3 years from now, right? New players and stuff, and
yeah.
what sailing's gonna look like then, and even just like I almost wish there were more areas to sail around the starting area. It's just so cool going to like Draenor and stuff like that and see. I went there on a forestry world with my boat and just went like, "Yo, what's up?" Because you couldn't do that before,
Yeah,
right?
that's cute.
I love that we have this huge water space that we can use now.
Yeah,
Um, that's really good.
I'm
The team did an incredible. I don't think they could have done any better. Everything I'm talking about that could be improved or whatever, like I think that's all expected. Nothing was going
mhm.
to be perfect on release. There were always going to be things to work on. Like so, I'd say overall, given the scale of it, they did a really good job, and they've been really receptive to making adjustments as well. I'm happy that they got out the door. I know what it's like to be on a project that takes years to release. I've been on projects myself in my career that have never launched, right? Where I've been
Oof.
on it and then like two years later they kind of get disbanded. And it's hard on the developers, the product managers when stuff like that happens. But just being on a project for such a long time is it can be a difficult thing. There's a lot of fatigue looking at the same thing all the time, and you don't get so when you're on smaller scale projects, large scale projects are amazing because when they launch, you're like, holy crap, I did something impactful, right? Small scale projects, the benefit is you're constantly dripping out content, new things, new features. When you're on something like this and you're doing it for 3 years, it feels like your contribution, you don't feel it at all for that
Mm,
whole entire period. Like Mod, Husky, Elena, and the team were basically exclusively working on this for like at least a year and a half, 2 years, right?
yep.
And to finally reach the finish line must feel like so many mixed emotions. And I personally wouldn't want to be on like crazy long projects. Like it's a tough place to be in. So kudos on them for actually getting it out, and I hope that they took a lot of time to celebrate and that they're going to take a good break heading into 2026 as well.
Yeah. No, they deserve it. Honestly, it's impressive what they've what has come into the game ultimately, because there's no part of me that has like a sense of regret of like this was a bad thing for the game. No part of me thinks that this was in any way like a bad update for the game. When forestry dropped, I thought that was a bad move for the game, like especially when
Yeah,
we were anticipating everything that was coming out for forestry part 2, which eventually so much of it got scrapped. I was genuinely getting worried. Like I was like, fuck, like this is
yeah.
not good. And
So imagine being part of the development team for forestry and then getting that reception and
yeah.
having to tweak that. But there's a lot of discouragement. There's a
Mm-hmm.
ton of internal discouragement of how that feels when your updates are ridiculed. And I'm sure there was a lot of anxiety for the team heading into sailing, but
Totally.
multiplied because it's large and they've been working on it for years. Like you never want to even let's just think outside of product development or game development. Like let's say you're personally building something, you're working on something, right? Like a new thing at home or whatever, and maybe it's a painting, maybe it's like a something e-commerce, whatever, and you've spent years and then the reception is like bad,
Terrible.
like
Yeah.
that would destroy me.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's I don't envy them. I'm happy that they got to work on the game that they love and release something that is going to be here forever now.
Yeah. And it's exciting to see what all will come in the next like 3 years. Like you said, like it's going to be so different
Yeah.
than what we are experiencing right now.
It'll be interesting to see if they switch the developers around a little bit. Like, obviously, there's going to be some people that have such high context of sailing, but at the same time, the people that have been working on sailing, there's mixed emotions, I'm sure, of like, yeah, I want to continue working on sailing because it's out, because I built it, etc. And also like, yeah, I want to switch to something else because I need a change now
Yeah.
that I've been on this for so long. So it'll be interesting to see with the projects in the future how they handle that. Because having that high context that some of those devs have, they're always probably going to be a part of sailing at some level.
Mhm.
But I'm sure they want to try to do other things too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Travag, I super love talking with you. It's honestly just all like time flies. It's already been over 3 hours. It's just insane. We were like, oh, let's plan for like 2.
Dude, I thought it was gonna be 2 hours, and then we spent like an hour talking about combat. And I'm like, oh boy.
yeah. These are the kinds of conversations I absolutely just love. This is what makes the Sae Bae cast so much fun. So thank you so much for coming on. Gonna have all your links down in the description. So guys, if you're not already subscribed, go click on his links and be sure to follow him on YouTube and wherever else. I'll have all his links included down below. He's most like, I mean, you've done a month of sailing videos, probably more to come, I'm imagining. Are there any other projects that you're considering kind of going after in this new year?
Projects. No, we'll continue on content creation. I think heading into the end of the year, I think I would love to talk about 2025. I think 2025 is a pretty marquee year for old school. We had some massive updates this year.
Yeah.
Like the only thing we didn't get was a raid, but we got like a new skill, new area. We got Varlamore Part 3, the Doom. There's like
Yama.
so much that's happened that I want to talk about the year in review and talk about what I'm very excited to think about the predictions of the Winter Summit in January.
Yes.
So that's going to be a focus for me heading into the end of the year and the beginning of the year, is thinking about this year and thinking about next year. So probably a few more sailing videos here and there, but definitely going to pivot to that as well.
Hell yeah. I'm so excited for the Winter Summit. That's going to be super dope. Yeah, I was even thinking, man, it would be kind of cool if end of January rolls around and maybe even do like a trio cast. I know I'd love to have you on again, like relatively soon. That might be too soon, but almost like getting you and another voice on talking about everything that's coming out with Winter Summit, I think could be such a fun discussion. But we'll have to see when.
Oh yeah, or do it
drops.
with your crew as well. Do like a live reaction. That'd be fun too.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much for coming on. Thanks all those listening. If you guys want to support, there is 3 links down below: YouTube membership, Patreon, and Spotify, where for $2 a month you can get access to 11 plus exclusive full-length episodes and plus get your name on the title screen. So thank you so much to all those that do continue to support. Really appreciate it. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.